Alright, what's up everybody? It's another weekly Dagger. Welcome, this is weekly number 11, and we're going to be featuring none other than the Jaedong, aka 424. Alright, let me go ahead and pause this music on the side here. Want to make sure we got all the volumes up and ready to go for the actual cast here today. Welcome everybody who's flooding in. And guess what? Here's the deal. Lamada hooked me up. Last hooked me up, and Zero hooked me up. All of them came together with greatness across the world between Canada, America, and Korea to get us these replays today. So what you see on the little screen here is a 424 going all the way up and down here across this screen. And who is Melverk on the left? That's going to be last. On the right, 424, the rumored Jaedong, is going to be on the right here. So we will be watching TVZ after TVZ after TVZ until we get exhausted of all the TVZs that we can watch. And once we're tired of those, we will conclude the day with some Zero versus Jaedong and the infamous ZVZ. Unless we want to intermarry the ZVZs, just kind of fit them in every couple replays that we watch between Last and Jaedong. So that's going to be the key thing here, as we are going to be watching 424. You guys have seen him on stream. You've seen Jaedong practicing. He couldn't announce it yet. And the replays were there. The key macros were there. Everybody identified that it was him. Now he's announced that he has retired from EG. He will be streaming for the first time next week. But I did something better than just getting you replays of his VODs. This is replays in-game. And so we are going to get a look at how good he actually is. Now, there has been a little bit of note from Lamada. And Lamada points out that, Jaedong, while he is looking really good, Last is just that damn good. So let me just point out, we're going against AlphaGo here, the new God tier Terran player. And while Flash, Flash is doing great, Last has been pretty dominant for about 2 years now since his return. So, you got to take that into consideration. And welcome everybody again. I am BisuDagger. I do this every week on Tuesday. Now, let me tell you, on Tuesday, this is not pre-recorded. This is actually live. You're hearing me talk. So on Tuesday, I was casting in the morning for the Now Raw Star League. And don't give me any spoilers. I still got to cast all of those games, so be polite to me. But if you feel like you have to spoiler them, just go ahead and do it, whatever. I'll still cast them. Anyway, on Tuesday morning, people were thinking, oh, is America even going to be around? Because there was an election on Tuesday, which we elected our new president, our new Cheeto overlord. It is going to be Donald Trump. So, whatever, America's still here. California hasn't seceded despite what Silicon Valley has been saying, which means that we are here today to be able to continue and watch the late Jaedong. Alright, I'm going to jump into the first game right now because I know you guys are all excited to just get right into this. I haven't seen any of these games either. This is going to be fresh for everybody, so this is going to be absolutely exciting. Let's go over to scene number 1 here. Bam. Okay, we're on scene number 1. We have Jaedong. Last here. Oh, looks like there's a little bit of a text error here. Let's go ahead and fix that up. We want to look everything sharp here before we start. A score 0-0. Best of 53? Maybe we get through them all? I don't know how late I'm going to stay up tonight. I slept for 13 hours yesterday. Why? My wife has to go to bed early for the night shift at the hospital that she works at. And she went to bed at 8:30. And I said, well, shit, I'm tired too. So I went to bed at 8:30. It was spectacular, the amount of sleep. All right, let's get right into this. And we'll keep it fun. We'll keep it lively. Now, my last my last week's stream on Thursday, just to point out, was actually muted for part of it because I was playing copyright music. Ugh, just a little bit of copyright music. Okay, so I want to say that I've got music. I've pre-screened it, which was what I was doing in the 15 minutes before this cast, is seeing if any of this music was going to be an issue. And since it is not, we are good to go, and hopefully I don't have any more muting problems. It's hard to get copyright, free music that you could play on Twitch. They're really strict about this. All right, what are people seeing here? Hype, yes, hype for TVZ. TVZ is, I think, the most popular matchup, so I would agree. Yeah, let's just more bio late game instead of mech. I think that it just depends on the play style. Some players like Piano will play late game bio because that's just what he excels at. He's so fun in it. And you know what? Piano was actually so good at bio that in his last tournament, I think it was in the ASL, he was playing bio against Protoss because he was just like, I'm so tired of playing Protoss with this mech style. I'm going to just mix it up. Okay, so first ever, guys. First ever Jaedong replay. Let's get this on the up and up. At the top right-hand corner, we'll have Last, a.k.a. AlphaGo, up here. And then down at the bottom left, we're going to have Jaedong himself, the Tyrant. His AKA in this state is going to be 424. So we can see already 2 drones coming off the line. The first Overlord has been produced. There's, of course, the default Overlord heading up towards the top left. But it looks like the expansion is coming down. The scouting drone is out and about. And can Jaedong win his first game of these 53 replays that we do have available to us? Okay, we can see that the barracks is coming up. No shenanigans from Last to start off this best of 53. Now, this is not an official best of 53. This is just 53 replays that were sitting in the folder of Last's computer. If you guys want to donate towards him, because you're so happy with what he is able to do, then please, the link below my stream, if you just donate to that PayPal account, I'll get the money to him somehow. I only have Zero's PayPal currently, but I'm sure Lamada can help me out here. And just leave a note with the paid money, and it will go directly to him. This helps me every Thursday's cast, that I can actually get more and more replays from either Zero, Last, or anybody else who is able to provide them. So that's the last of the money grubbing for a while here. Maybe 5 games will go by before I try and just pawn some money off you guys to go towards the South Korean StarCraft scene again. Look at this, the macro hatchery coming up in here. We can see the spawning pool about to finish. And the macro hatchery before the extractor. So actually wanted to go more larva heavy first and delaying getting the quicker gas. Not going to be a problem here. We can see that the hatchery inside the natural base already finishing up. The command center coming up. So because the SCV got the scout down here, saw exactly what was going on, it made Last think, okay, well, it's going to be pretty safe for me to just go for the command center supply depot and no quick bunker or anything to try and block this ramp from early game Zerglings. So Last is going to have the most nice macro opening possible for him to work on this early game economy. Still, he's delaying the gas because we are just going to see just the proper barracks openings. It's just going to be normal bio for now to play out against Jaedong. You do have to get that gas eventually, though, even if you're going to go bio, because, you know, medics, academy upgrades, they all cost that Vespene gas. You got to eventually get past this 50 mineral threshold for this OP little darling unit here making its way across the map. So this is Mindstyle-esque here, where you just send four Marines here and see what kind of damage you could do, or at least try and pressure, pick up a drone, get that random scouting Zergling. So perfect, so perfect. I'm loving seeing the chat very active on the right. I promise you I'm missing all of your questions and statements if you said anything. So say it really, really loud if needed. Let me lock in my mouse here and make sure everything's good to go. Yep. Guys, we are on Fighting Spirit. Look at this. Look at the APM for Last to 430 APM, 355. So Jaedong, he's still got it. He's still got his hands. They are getting a little bit older. Eventually, Jaedong, Flash, Stork, and Bisu are all going to have to go to are all going to have to go into the military, and maybe that's when Air Force Ace is going to have to start coming back again. I see Lamada saying loud. Is the game music loud? Let me see if I can tone that down. Let's pause this up here. Alright, let me know if you guys think that the sound is good here. And let's get back into this. I apologize one more time again. Of course, if you're watching from the VODs, I'm sure you've just adjusted the volume to make up the difference here. But Jaedong, look at this, a very fast lair. A very fast lair on his natural. So a normal lair, and in that sense, he just isn't going for the lair at his main base. I'm sorry, that threw me off for a second here. The Spire coming up on its way. It's going to be off these two bases. The Spire tech with the mutas are going to be coming on their way too. Sometimes... never mind, just ignore that thought. We have the Comsat station coming up here too, preparing for any possible scans, but of course it's going to be mutas first, so scans not going to be necessarily important. Sometimes you see players delay these scans, or the Comsat stations, especially since you don't need them, and replace, you could just get a bunch of turrets, because the turrets are going to deal with the muta threat. That will eventually happen. Jaedong's got a lot of Zerglings out in the map here, 11 Zerglings in total, just kind of running around trying to control the pace of the map. You can see the sunken colonies coming down here too, to defend against this initial push. Now, I feel like when I'm spoiled because I watched a lot of Zero lately, and Zero actually wouldn't rush to get down, you know, and for these sunken colonies. Maybe have 2 creep colonies, maybe just even 1 sunken and 1 creep at most. Because Zero is confident in his abilities to defend and delay, especially knowing that his mutatech timing will come out before that threat is really real and can bust out the front here. Meanwhile, we can see that the Lings, they're trying to make it inside this base here. That Marine in such like a perfect position here. And then the stim of the Marines coming up from behind here too. So that's going to just get the Lings back out of the way. You know, keeping these Lings alive is actually pretty important, because when you want to engage on the middle of the map army here, using the Lings to just kind of distract the Marine attack while the mutas engage is going to be absolutely important here. Any damage that goes on the mutas really weakens off the defense or even the potential offense here. How good is Jaedong's muta micro going to be? This is the first time we're actually seeing him in this replay start to gather his mutas together, and we know that he is famous for the 2-pronged muta attacks, 2 different control groups micro at the same time. So this is probably the most exciting thing we are going to be seeing thus far here in this game. Look at this. The muta's already taken down 1 SCV, starting to head towards the back. Last, how can he go light on turrets knowing who his opponent is? How many SCVs are going to go down? The 2 turrets on the south. Jaedong might actually choose to engage and take them out, but no, he takes out a couple of the SCVs that were just constructing throughout his bases here. But the mutas don't do too much damage here. Meanwhile, you can see that there's a huge spread of Marines that are starting to head down. Jaedong's got to pay attention to this. Where are the medics? Where are the medics? The stim goes down. Now, of course, the Marines can still do some pretty heavy damage without the medics there to heal them, but you don't want to lose them recklessly. Oh, a single muta coming up from the left here. Is it going to go for multiple prong attacks here? You can see that the group finally getting together here outside of this natural bridge. Okay, the mutas do try and poke in and engage again one more time. Almost taking out that medic too. If you can get the medic count down to like 1 or even 2 when it starts to be that big push that Last is going to be going for, then you're in a pretty good position, because 2 medics really can't handle 2 control groups worth of Marines. But right now, Last is in a great spot. Okay, let's look up at the north again. We can see the mutas poised to attack. No, they're just going to ignore that natural base. And another delay on the starport. The longer he delays this is just beautiful, because you know once the irradiate does come out, it's just a complete disruption to this muta attack. And as long as the irradiate doesn't exist, he can just bounce around to whoever the weak points are and force turrets upon turrets upon turrets here. So Last, he's really trying to make himself defend here, you know, pretty effectively. He's got 4 turrets inside this base. He's still only sitting with the 2 on the bottom here. Meanwhile, Jaedong, he's already looking towards his additional 3rd base expansion here at the top left. Oh, look at that. He's gone after 2 base hive. You know what? This is so reminiscent of when Zero returned back to the scene, because every time we watched Zero play 3 years ago when he returned was all 2 base hive play. So losing this hatchery isn't a big deal, because that's not particularly what Jaedong is going for here. He's going to be getting towards that faster defiler tech here. And so even though the lurkers were just a little bit late and could not ward off these units, another drone will eventually make it up towards the top left. And it's just going to be a little bit of a delay here. Oh, nice little delay, or a nice kill off here. The carnage from these Marines. Let's look inside this base. So we're seeing another group of Marines push out with the medics, trying to engage towards the middle. But Jaedong's doing a great job. He has been following the Zerg meta of get some lurkers outside of this bridge, try and control this center area, force the Marines to either choose to go walk towards the top left area or the bottom right if they want to loop around. Oh, is this on hold? Yes, he's going to get a hit off here. So getting a few of the Marines, this is just a scattered force right now, not going to be very strong. And even these more Marines that are coming in here are going to be way too far ahead of the medics. Not a good grouping for last. And Jaedong looks like he's taking a strong game number 1 in this best of 53. Is he going to take his first win of the day? The Tyrant's so strong against AlphaGo. AlphaGo's going to have to use his genetic AI, learn from this game, and play much better in the next. Alright, so the science vessel is going to be coming out. Well, now remember that the third base at the top left was delayed. If Last can hold here, he'll still be fine, even though he's sitting on 2 bases. But there's a lot of pressure here coming out with all these lurkers inside this base. So many SCVs are going down. I don't know how Last can recover. GG! The Tyrant does it! The Tyrant does it! What a game. What a game. Woo! Who expected that? Alright, let me play some music. Make sure I got everything calibrated for game number 2, and then we'll jump in it just very shortly here. Everybody hang tight. Oh man, was that like blue balls for music? Because I just cut you guys off from like that sick beat drop that was about to happen right there. I'm sorry. Alright, we've got more Jaedong. And if I delay for more Jaedong, then you guys will just start to write. I know you guys, you're loyal and you love StarCraft 1. Wow, Jaedong winning his first game? That is impressive. Let's go ahead and update the score here. I mean, we've got to get the score on the update here. Let me click this. Okay, we got that loaded. Doop, doop, doop. Anybody watch a BlitzCon intro, the Overwatch trailer? I don't even care if you don't like Overwatch, but if you're watching the Twitch chat as they do the announcement, and then the Overwatch trailer ends, and the new character goes boop, and then Twitch chat just rockets with boop, and just, you know, and text all down the screen. It was the most hilarious thing ever. And now everybody says it everywhere. It's been a complete meme. And not only that, but their trailers and their animated stuff is always just out of this world spectacular. You could literally hate any game that Blizzard does and still just love the design and depth of detail that goes into every single animated trailer or snippet that they have. All right, game number 2. Oh, this looks like Circuit Breakers. Circuit Breakers. Did you know it's plural? It's not Circuit Breaker. It's actually Circuit Breakers. Get it right or pay the price. Salute your shorts. Alright, so down at the bottom right, it's going to be 424, a.k.a. Jaedong. And at the top left, we'll have AlphaGo, a.k.a. Last, a.k.a. Melvrick. Melverk? Okay, that's an interesting name. Maybe there's a story behind that. I'm not really sure what that name comes from. I am not hopped up on anything. This is just what happens when I actually get an adequate amount of sleep. And plus, I can't describe how jittery I am just being able to cast these replays today. I think you guys should know, though, that this happened last time when I casted Flash. And then when I casted Bisu when he returned. Oh my god, if Stork returns too, it will be like times 10. Because we know we need to bring back more Protoss Dragons. That's just the way it has to go. Jaedong's slow-ass Overlord is making its way across the map. Seriously, these tentacle giants can't move any faster. They need their upgrades, don't they? Okay, so Jaedong, look at that. He's going Overlord first. The supply depot coming up at the top of this mineral patch here. And everything just going pretty standard for both these players. No additional shenanigans thus far. I feel like everybody coming off BlitzCon was probably overall disappointed. Just purely because there wasn't that like big psychotic announcement. I know that people are really upset about Brood War HD not being an announcement too, but I think all of us who really were nervous about Brood War HD were like everybody else who was sitting at the election wondering if their candidate is gonna win. That was StarCraft 1 fans at BlitzCon. Are they going to announce it or not? Are they going to announce it or not? Who's going to win here? Who's going to be really pissed off? Mike Morhaime, are you going to get slapped by 2,000 nerds in the face? That's just what we were wondering at the time here. You can see that the drone actually scouting up towards the top right, not finding his opponent quite yet. Last does have the SCV going towards the cross. You know, this is just typical AlphaGo AI. He has upgraded himself. He has improved his scouting mechanisms and knows that he needs to go across the map. Actually, really, you know what he knows is that he didn't see an Overlord, and he sensed that if he didn't see an Overlord, it's possible that it is more likely that it is a cross spawn than a close spawn. Okay, we can see the command center coming up. And the command center going to be pretty normal here. Now look at this. This is the difference that I said earlier. Oh no, he does have this. So he does the hatchery and then he just slightly delays the extractor and follows it up. And I actually kind of like that. I'm such a bigger fan of getting the larva available earlier. And so maybe you could actually crunch out a few more drones before you go, working towards the additional tech extractors, all of that goodness here. So we can see that the supply depot coming up. And this is a little bit of a larger entrance here. So supply depot and potentially a bunker right here can make it really difficult for a Zerg player to bust on in. You saw in Fighting Spirit, he did opened up with that supply depot at the wall instead of at the ramp. That's just a little bit of favoritism, whatever you prefer to like there. And I'll probably repeat that useful business again if we get back on Circuit Breakers, which we have 53 replays. I think maps are going to repeat. It's just a possibility. Okay, so I like this. The supply depot here is actually blocking off the ability for Lings. If somehow they do, God forbid, make it behind this mineral line, then the Marines can just kind of crush them in from here and kill off any Lings running from behind. So all the little niceness about the opening of this map. Now we can see the extractor coming down at the natural base too. This is looking so much like Muta, the lair on its way too. And once that lair finishes up, I expect us to see a Spire pretty quickly. A lot of Zerg players have very different styles in terms of where they want to put their Spire. I've seen lately a lot of Zerg players start to put their Spire down here just to potentially hide that tech in case a scan occurs. But it's really almost a given that the Spire will occur, and lurkers have become so much more rare before mutas. Really, because mutas really help you control the game. So you can see right here, this is exactly what I was talking about. I was expecting the Spire here, but it used to be down here. You used to either have your Spire right here or your Spire right here. And the reason why that kind of sucks if you put your Spire here is because drop play, a lot of bio drop play in the mid game led to this Spire or the spawning pool getting picked off. I think maybe by putting it here, you're at least splitting your tech up just a little bit more, and that could be one potential reason why you'd want to hide it over there, besides trying to potentially hide tech. All right. So enough of theory crafting here. Let's see what's going on. Zergling's heading over towards last base. So Jaedong also trying to figure out what we want to figure out here. Exactly how many Marines are going to be pushing out right now. So these Zerglings would most definitely die if they do engage. Enough medics there to really deal with it. We can see a third barracks on the way. Engineering bay is completed. Stim is almost done. And let's see if the next upgrade in the queue is going to be on its way. Oh, yeah. So, okay, now we do have range. of the full committal to upgrading these Marines to awesomeness. The +1 starts too. It's all about, you know, you have to get that refinery a little bit later. You're not having a refinery on your natural base either, so you're really just completely restricted to how much gas you can get out of one with just 3 SCVs. And you generally see the Terran player prefer the Academy upgrades first. But sometimes a really fast +1, I see this with Scan. Scan, when he was playing the Scan versus Koget series, I believe. Or no, Scan versus Eon Zerg series. He went for the faster +1, and it was actually pretty neat to see what kind of advantages he got by having the stronger attack upgrade on the Marines once the mutas did finally make it over. So we can see the initial mutas coming out. 11 mutas start to stack them up, Jaedong. Is he going to come out with that firepower once more time? Already getting his first kill. First blood is done. And now he's going to be engaging on these Marines. Oh, man. Oh, I love this. I love this. So he's continuing to just bounce back, keep them alive. No! No, Jaedong! Your micro, it's supposed to be godlike, but he already loses one single mutalist. You can see the Marines coming in the back now. 2 mutas to all these Marines? Is that possible? No! No! Last is playing so strong right now. His Marine push too strong. These mutas, they haven't had the opportunity to even look inside the main and natural for whatever damage could be possible. Last has the upper footing this time. And this is a completely different game from game number 1, where we saw Jaedong completely in control here. These early losses are going to just soften him up. And even a single turret is going to be enough to deter these mutas that don't want to engage just so abruptly on that natural base. Okay, so let's look inside this main. How many turrets? Last is just playing just completely greedy here. He only has 1 turret to defend the Marines as they do pop out, so he's gone completely light so far. The starport finishing up a lot quicker here too. But Jaedong, on the other hand, while he has delayed this push, he's also taken a 3rd base, and it looks like he's gonna have that secured. The Hydras just waiting for the lurker aspect, which is just about to finish. Once that pops, we look over here, and those lurkers pop too. Like clockwork, Jaedong really plays with extreme efficiency here. Meanwhile, the mutas coming in from the back here too. So not only are all his timings so crisp, as we're seeing, but the mutas are walking by and just saying, ah, I can take a medic out, I can take a Marine out. You're not going to look. Presto. This is just too easy for the Tyrant. Meanwhile, an accumulation of Zerglings sitting up at the right. It's possible that we're going to see a frontal attack here too. He's bringing it in from both sides. Here comes the full frontal attack. Can he get the tank down too? An important piece of this early to mid-game attack of Last. Yeah, he's just going to send his units across the map, and hopefully that his re-macro is going to be enough to kill off these units here. Jaedong's got himself in a pretty good position though. He's got the turret down. Not much can attack these mutas. There's another tank! There's another tank, but it doesn't go down. He's going to focus on the main base. Meanwhile, the units have been pulled away. All of them coming back. 5 medics. They're going to be completely useless here. And look at that. He actually gets his mutas out. The mutas came out the right side of the map. And they are still alive. Meanwhile, lurkers coming to the bridges. This is what I mentioned in the last game. You're going to see a lot of those lurkers on the bridges. They're becoming so more useful. If you learn how to get a timing where you can push and position them right here, it's going to be so perfect. So Last, he lost a ton of Marines. He's only sitting at 23, so just barely at 2 control groups here. Meanwhile, his siege tank count down to 1. And let's go ahead and see. The science vessel is just now, his first one, just now about to finish up. And then, of course, we can see Irradiate is only halfway done. He still is going to need that all-important upgrade here. Okay, so the lurkers are just going to continue to crawl and leap themselves back. But what he can do is, while the science vessel isn't there, work his way up to just burning as many concept scans as possible. Last has 3 in his bank right now as he continues to push out with more and more units. This tank going to be so important. Let's keep an eye on that. And are the mutas going to be able to pick it off? Oh, that's just a Scourge. But we got to keep an eye on those Scourge too. The Scourge ready to jump on this science vessel as soon as possible. Jaedong knows only 1 science vessel is out. If he can catch it away from the Marines, it will completely and abruptly stop this push. Oh, he's going to dive in a little bit. He almost got the Scourge through, but a great job of focus firing with those Marines. And Last is going to be able to take them down. His push continues to throttle forward. Oh, an initial Radiate coming down, but the rest of the lurkers going to be in the burrow position. Alright, these tanks, like I said, imagine if Last had 3 more tanks here. He would have to move back so quickly and so efficiently. And now he can just, he can take a little bit of a tank shot or 2 before he moves back. It's okay if he delays it, because 2 tank shots, clearly not as effective as 5. Alright, so he's trying to, Jaedong's trying to position himself a little bit on the upper right side, but he's got himself in a position where there's not a lot of tanks in siege mode quite yet here. He's trying to poke into these Marines, but Last is so good right now. This is a scary push. His +1 attack and, you know, fully Academy upgraded Marines pushing in here. He's going to pick off all of the mutas. The mutas are completely removed from the scene. And there's not many lurkers here. He's Hydra Light. And I think that this push may end up being too strong for Jaedong, who came off an excellent game number 1, is having a little bit more trouble with Last, who's playing with great precision in game number 2. There is nothing here that has disrupted Terran economy off these 2 bases. This is so typical of Last to be able to push and take this win at the 12-minute mark in this game. Look at this. The 10 armored egg is always just a wonderful thing to watch. It's as soon as the lurker actually pops is when the lurker is in danger here. Okay, so Jaedong, how much does he have left? He has Hive. He has Hive tech. There's a potential Defiler somewhere around here. But right now we're just seeing Lynx and Lurkers. Oh, Jaedong, he's going to call it GG. GG. Last takes game number 2. Ties the series up 1-1 in this best of 53. All right. Let me update the score. Drink some water. See if there's anything crazy in the Twitch chat. And we'll continue.
To call me on my cell phone, late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone.
All right, game number 3 is going to be on the way in just a second here. I welcome you all. Thank you for joining in on the weekly number 11. This is the Korean edition, which is on Thursdays. The Tuesday foreign editions, I've done a couple, but I've got to really apologize to everybody in the foreign scene. The Nowra Star League popped up, and I just had to cast it in the morning. But of course, it wore me out, and so I canceled the foreign Tuesday. So I have a special foreign Tuesday edition either next week. No, it's going to be in 2 weeks, because I'm going to Seattle next week, and so I don't know what I'm going to be able to cast. I will do my best from Seattle, but I have to travel from Florida to Seattle. It's going to be a little bit of a different time zone to cast from. But on top of that, let me just add, in 2 weeks, I have basically a PVZ for beginners. It's going to be a very educational episode. I'm working on it. I'm trying to put together some really good information people really wanted to know. Let me go ahead and start this since we can just get into the intro here. Number 3 here. All right. So basically what I'm saying is there were people who want a more educational type analytical episode instead of just my wonderful screaming, which I'm sure you guys are all here for. So I'm going to do that. And PVZ is first. If you like it, we'll choose another matchup and we'll go with that one too. So we'll see how it goes. I hope it's fun. And if not, we'll just get back to Eon Zerg owning everybody in replays, because that's always fun too. So at the top right hand corner, we're going to have the Zerg opponent Jaedong, aka 424. Don't be confused, 424 at the top left here. Down at the bottom left, we'll have Melverk. I said Melverk this time instead of Melverick. I guess that's more accurate. We'll go with that, aka Last. Okay. So AlphaGo here came out with a great game number 2. Seems like he adjusted fully to Jaedong's build. A different map, but very same build, very same strategy. I would say that a little bit of a faster third on Circuit Breaker than on Fighting Spirit. And maybe that was it. And also, the Hive Tech may have been a little bit quicker on Fighting Spirit than Circuit Breaker. But I've been keeping track of times. We're going to be watching this closely and see how much more Jaedong's going to shift things up. But right now, he's doing the same standard opening of 12 hatch. Because why do anything else but 12 hatch when you're playing TVZ? There's nothing better. Nothing more important. What program do you use to get all your replay feedback like unit count? I use the NCA launcher to be able to get all of this. So if you guys have not used the MCA launcher before, it is awesome. This is how you get all the really cool neatness. Yep, that's about it. That's the quick answer. Anybody else who wants to chime in on that, they can, but that's what I'm using. And we can see here that last is going to be going for the standard opening too. Again, supply depot, barracks, goes for the command center first, and then takes the gas second. And this is very economical. You know, the thing is, he hasn't found his opponent yet. And that's where you would think, okay, maybe he might drop down a gas first. He might change things up a little bit differently. He does. Oh, well, he pumps a Marine out pretty quickly, too. Because he doesn't know what's going to be coming at him. And that's going to be really important. So maybe that's kind of the difference, is that he's queuing up a few Marines before he does go for his additional command center here. But now he knows what his opponent's doing. It's that standard 12 hatch. And the spawning pool on its way shortly too. And Jaedong, look at this. Literally the same openings from both these players. 3 games in a row. This hatchery first, Gask second. So if you guys haven't figured out how to ZVT yet, I mean, we're going to figure it out after these 53 games. BisuDagger, are you really going to cast 53 games tonight? Probably not. But let's get hyped about the fact that I have a huge amount of replays in my replay folder, and that's just freaking awesome. And it's all Jaedong. It doesn't get any better than that. Oh man, I love my replays folder on my computer here. If my computer crashes and everything gets lost, I would literally weep for days. Now, let's see what we can do about getting some more Bisu replays added in here. What is going to need to happen for that, of course. I'm going to have to start networking even harder with the Koreans. What kind of drugs are the Koreans into? Maybe I can, send them some of that booger sugar and get them all hopped up and generous. I know nothing about drugs, by the way. Booger sugar is about the most creative drug name that I can think of, honestly. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so look at this. We do see the command center coming up. Later command center. And you know what? That's like I said, because of the scout is why the command center was delayed. And what we saw last time from last was that supply depot at the front also to kind of, help wall off things. But he skipped that supply depot. He instead is just building all of them towards the back here. In fact, he built a supply depot south of his command center, but it's actually not necessary to do the SCV trick with the command center since it's spawned on the left side of the map and you have left side minerals. Of course, if for some reason, and they're all old Brood War maps, you spawn on the left but have right side minerals, then you can go ahead and use the supply depot trick. I just like talking about the neat things you can do in StarCraft. Don't you guys all just love this game? It is wonderful. 4 Zerglings, Spire on the way, and everything looking on the up and up legit. Now, Jaedong, he really thrived in this game number 1 on Fighting Spirit with all his mutas. So, everybody, you can probably expect that these mutas are going to do just as good on this map. So, look at this. Let's see how well Last is going to be prepared. The engineering bay is only halfway done. And we can see that the Spire is not even halfway done. So the engineering bay will be done. Turrets will be up in time. No sense of drama there, right? I mean, these players have everything worked out so easily. But this is what I'm talking about right here, is a completely different mix-up. Those early Marines actually told Last to engage earlier since he has all this extra bioforces. And he's got so many units coming in here, picking off a few drones, and he's completely run around these sunken colonies. He's not going to be able to safely make it up this ramp here, but being able to camp behind this mineral line is going to allow him to get a lot of damage done. Kill off this extractor, delay all the mineral mining. What is Jaedong doing? Don't, you greedy bastard! Don't mine from there. That is not optimal. Taking damage. He hit this one. This one got the minerals though. The golden boy, the golden child of the drones. He's just bragging. Look at him running around with this, his talons on the money here, ready to return it to the hatchery when possible. Okay, so the Lynx coming in for a massive engagement. Somehow he just slaughtered them. Oh, what a massacre. Who else could kill off those units so effectively? But Jaedong, he does it. Last, his push is over. The only thing he did delay, which was absolutely crucial here, is that mining from this extra extractor, which will make the muta count lower. Maybe not initially lower, but you'll just see shortly after. He's not going to be able to have too many follow-up to go into this muta stack. What a great engagement there for last. And you know what? He's got a decent amount of racks already. He's got 3 racks supplied in here. The turrets are already spread out pretty good across his bases. Excuse me there. And so, oh, I hear the attacking, I was just a little late, but the muta's coming in from the top now, looking for the answer to where can they harass the best. Alright, with the 2 turrets at the front here, at the top, it's going to be really difficult. Jaedong not going to want to engage one more time. You can see that he is starting to stack it up one more. And can he bring back this micro that we saw in game number 1? Is he able to pull off one more time? And was game number 1 a fluke? Was it really that good? Or was the last just not on his toes like he is for game 2 and game 3 now that he is prepared for what Jaedong has to throw at him? Trying to take on 3 turrets at once. This is unnecessary damage. Trading these muta forces for static defenses. It's just not a good trade right here. But the Marines are actually in a pretty bad position. Only 1 medic in there to actually heal up. And you can see that the poking in from these mutalisks are doing a great job of thinning down the units that can defend. That one turret's a hero. It actually deflected all of these mutas, forcing them to pull out here. And there's just no way that Jaedong's going to have any more pressure with the mutas on these 2 bases. His muta count's so low. Losing that extractor early is really hurt him in the gas count. And wow! Are you kidding me? How about anticlimactic? GG. I think Jaedong just sensed the economic damage that occurred there. He didn't get anything done. Let's not read too much more into it. That was such a quick one. We're just going straight into game number 4. Look at the, well, I guess that's just a structure difference here. More units for Jaedong. Interesting. Interesting. Is there any new type of strategy used at all? Now, let me tell you, I think that ZVT and for Zerg players, they're kind of in a rut on different openings, but Zero still plays really well, and it's a lot of different subtle things that you change. You can't just say, oh, this is what you go for as a Zerg player. You really have to read your opponent and react. Zerg is so reactionary. So I think you still just always open up where you can go for mutas. But the other opening, if you want to say that you target a particular tech, it's always 2 base layer. It's always 2 base layer. But you can choose to be deceptive and drop down that Hydralisk Den first instead of going for the Spire and get the Lurkers out faster. And that is just one option. And while you're going for Lurkers, you could tech up the Hive if you want to. You could probably secure your 3rd a little bit quicker. Or you could just put on some early game aggression with your Lurkers, knowing that maybe the comsat stations were delayed based on how well you've scouted out your opponent. So that's basically the 2 tech paths that I try and look at as a bar when I'm thinking about Zerg, is where are they going at their lair tech? Because you know that it's going to happen at 2 bases. And so does the Hydralisk Den drop down or does the Spire drop down? And there's a lot of variations in between there. When do you go for when you drop down Evo Chambers, when you get +1 attack, +1 carapace, all that goodness. Okay. So we're going to have, at the bottom left-hand corner, will be Melverk, a.k.a. Last. And at the top right, it is going to be 424, a.k.a. Jaedong. How cool is it that we are watching Jaedong for the first time through replays? So let me go ahead and update here. We have Last with the 2-1 lead. And we have 53 replays to burn through. If I don't get through them today, that just means I have more for next week. Or if I just get bored, I'm going to start casting more and more and more. I know I have the Now Raw Star League to finish casting. I'm sure you guys would like some English casting on that. I believe the YouTube videos are up on one of the YouTube channels that has been providing the VODs for Now Raw. And not just Now Raw. I went to that YouTube channel. There's Flash, and I believe Last was there also. I don't know how this guy's capturing it, but he's just using some like Africa app to pour all of the streams into YouTube videos on his channel. So I find that is pretty cool. Someone probably knows it may be a Team Liquid guy who's doing that. All of you guys with your awesome internet skills making this sort of thing happen. And look at this, the spawning pool in front of the Vespine Geyser, and you think, huh, that's an interesting place to put that, but it may actually help the drones get to the hatchery quicker. It's all about, you know, optimizing the pathing. So, what do we got here? Where's that additional hatchery? Where's the macro hatchery, guys? I mean, seriously, when is that going to happen? It's got to be coming up soon. So, I guess once we get to these 300 minerals, sometimes I lose track of time. It happens. The command center going to be coming up in just a moment here. That's going to get all confirmed by this SCV that the command center is actually a pretty good idea. Let me see. BisuDagger, are you planning to do any duo casts on the upcoming Delightness that is Jaedong returning in Now Raw? Okay, and someone's saying, answering my other question real quick, Pearl and Bash, old school. Oh, you mother effers. So badass using Pearl and Bash. I can't do it. You can't pay me to work with those languages. C++, C#, Python, Lua. That's what I'll deal with at most. If I'm really gonna even get to like a scripting language. Pearl and Bash. Will I duo cast? You know what? It depends. I cannot cast the next league live, or else I would duo cast with Sail. But for those of you guys who are big fans of Sail, he will be returning to cast live Jaedong versus Stork versus Flash versus Bisu, and the Giga tournament coming up. So everybody should get really excited about that. I am. Personally, I love Sail. I think he's one of the coolest dudes, and he provided so much for the scene when there was no one there. So we all need to like pay our dues to him and try and watch it live if possible. But like I said, I'm flying in at actually 12:30 in the morning, and the Giga tournament will be live like 4 hours later or 5 hours later. And so I'm not gonna get home, go to sleep by like 2 in the morning, and be expected to cast a couple hours later. I just can't do it. I apologize. Oh, look at these Marines coming in here a little bit earlier, taking a little bit out of Mine's book here. I love this. Last playing so well. He's getting these drone kills, and it's just so good. Because Jaedong doesn't have a lot of Zerglings. And I would love to see Jaedong in the next game after this. Not this game, it's already too late. Open up with 8 Zerglings. When I watched Koget play really well against Scan and that TVZ, or what am I thinking? I'm actually thinking of Eon Zerg again. So because I keep forgetting when Scan played Terran. So Scan against Eon Zerg started playing better against Scan when he started making 8 Zerglings instead of 2 or 4. Because you can really deal with those early Marines and pick them off a lot quicker. You don't need a quicker sunken colony. So it's just one of those things where if you know your opponent has been getting really aggressive early on with your bioforces, it's just cost you a couple extra larvae. No big deal, right? You know, all you Zerg players are just number crunchers when it comes to the economy. Like, how many drones can I get away with, but how many do I need to actually get away with, you know, this awesome build? So where's the lair? The lair's up. The Spire halfway done here. Working towards that Mutatech one more time. And really, I've been pretty disappointed for 2 games in a row now with how well Jaedong has used his Mutalisk. I want to see him just go on another level, turn that hair yellow, go Super Saiyan Jaedong, And last, if you don't know, it was actually a player who dyed his hair white when he was part of the STX house. And the STX coaches paid, or not paid, they forced Last to dye his hair white, so that way he would be more outgoing and more of an extrovert. And it would force him to socialize, because all the players would be like, haha, why is your hair white? You look weird. And he'd have to explain it to them. And then they'd become instant best friends, and they would have team hugs. Because the STX team, they weren't winning anything, but they hugged a lot. They're like the hippies of the Pro League back in the day. Cal, that giant teddy bear, you tell me he's not walking around hugging Calm in the team house, lifting him up, doing the bear hugs. That's all it was. These guys, high five, we almost won that one. We lost 3-1. You know, oh goodness. Don't get me started on that team. So much potential just flushed down the drain. But they did well in Pro League for StarCraft 2, didn't they? Right before they disbanded and everybody went on SKT. Okay, so looking inside the natural base here, let's try and get our bearings set here. We've got a couple turrets coming on. We got 3 turrets inside the natural base here. A couple turrets coming up inside the main. Someone's saying, is that fucking guy still playing? Are you referring to Cal? Cal actually plays every once in a while, I believe. No? What is he doing these days? He's not a StarCraft player anymore, for sure. He went military, and then when he came back, he played for like a day and decided it wasn't for him. Someone's saying he's a Han pro. Wait, do people still play Heroes of New Earth? Is that still a thing? Is that competitive, that scene? Oh, man. You hear about League, you hear about Dota, you hear about HOTS. No one talks about Heroes of New Earth. That's got to be a load of bull. I feel like that is major trolling here. Okay, so Jaedong's got his focus. He's probably got that mean face. You know when he gets real concentrated. Like he's trying to pass a good one through his back tube. And now we can see that the Mutas here are ready to engage. Picking off that medic, he said, yeah, not your day. You're going down. Okay, so, you know, bouncing on the bridge is actually a pretty good spot because it forced those Marines to split up. Now the Zerglings coming in here too. We can see that the glaive attack's good, but not great. Not great because all the Mutas all the Marines here are still alive, forcing these Mutas to continue and try and rally them back. And we can see 8 Mulas are still alive, 28 drones. Now 28 drones actually is pretty standard until you get that third base up and running. And now we can see here, that's where the third base will be eventually. Again, like in number 1, this is actually a little bit of a later third base. So let's go and see what the tech is here. So he's not gone to Hive quite yet. Lurker out of spec, going to be completed soon. You can see the 3 Hydralisks are out on the map, which are going over here to turn themselves into wonderful eggs. Not on the ramp though, Jaedong, you heathen. Okay, so the Mutas bounce it out here on the outside again. Alright. Not too much damage done. Look at that. The stim end forcing those medics to go to work here. And it seems like Jaedong wants those Mutas to attack. He wants them to get a shot off. And so he just kind of like, it's so close. He skates around. Is it going to happen? Is he going to get hit in there? Yeah, that was actually good. He got 1 hit. A little bit of damage on the Marines. But still, these will just continue to be what they're going to be. Where are those lurkers here? The lurkers moving out? Oh, the lurkers moving out. They're actually coming here to take the bridge. Because the Bio Forces haven't left, Last has been contained successfully to his 2 bases here. And in fact, he's going for a timing with his tanks. Usually you actually see them push out with 2 tanks here, but I think that Last is just going to be a little bit careful, maybe wait for a 3rd tank, especially since a 3rd tank will really help him along with the scans push out against the lurkers that will be defending against the bridge here. Where is the Science Vessel? The Science Vessel finally coming out here. We see perfect timing as it works its way towards this army. Now you can push. With that Science Vessel available, you don't have to burn all those scans, and this is just a giant medic party coming in with this large grouping of Bio Forces here. And you can see here's the 3rd tank too. So everything that I have prophesized has come to life here as Last actually takes an oblong route out of his base. And look at this. Where's the Scourge? The Scourge are stacked up with the Mutos. Hard to see here in this stack, but they are there. I promise you, if you didn't see them, they were just kind of like lurking under. Oh, here it comes, here it comes! Oh, he gets it! He gets it! Are you kidding me? That was such a beautiful stack. I couldn't even see the Scourge, but they just blew that thing up like it was nothing here. And these units are just going to stim and blitz forward, try and take the middle of the map. Jaedong playing really well, preparing himself for this hold. Look at all the lurkers that are coming in. This bridge is going to be so hard. What he wants to do is delay at the bridge, but then actually defend on the other side, because it's better to funnel the Terran units across here. He's got to sink his units in underground. Here we go. Okay, the spine attack's coming out here, just completely slaughtering the face of the Terran army as they make their way across this bridge. The tanks are key. The tanks are so crucial here. If Last loses these, the push is going to be crushed. Oh, he's getting one so close. Yeah, he takes one take out. It's so close. One more glaive attack. He does it with the mutant alive here. He's completely crushed this, hasn't he? Just one take left. Can Jaedong do it? Another science vessel has finally come out and will cross the map and can really see all the lurkers on the ground. It's so important that Jaedong can actually get another hit with these skirts. He's going to run across the focus. It's not there. He's going to lose the science vessel. It goes down. Wow. What a defense here. But Jaedong. Oh, Jaedong. GG. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He didn't get that science vessel in time. Last, you're too pro. That puts him up, what, 3-1 now? Puts him up 3-1. As a caster, I feel I let you down, because if you look at the top left in the minimap, he did lose that hatchery over there. Probably should have gone over there, but you know what? Let's keep things a mystery. It gets you really excited, doesn't it? Alright. Scourge play is so much fun. I love it. I love it. Alright, quick water break. We'll go into game number, where are we at? Well, game number 5 in just a minute here as we continue this wonderful TVZ day of Last versus Jaedong. Alright guys, we're going into game number 5 in just a minute here. Welcome to this cast. I am your host, BisuDagger, of course. I love that you guys are here. It's so exciting to see the enthusiasm. Guess what? Yes, Jaedong replays. If you're just coming in here right now, you've missed 5 of them. Watch my cast VODs after this. I promise you I'll get them on YouTube as fast as I can. If you want to leave me any comments that I may have missed in the Twitch chat, please leave them on the BisuDagger caster thread. You just type in my name, BisuDagger, you'll find it. And that'll be on Team Liquid. Of course, the one last thing, if you guys want to show your appreciation for either of these players, well, for Last, for giving us these replays, please use the donate button at the bottom. Donate and put a Last something message, and I will try and get the money to him. If you want to donate towards Zero, who also gives me replays, you can donate towards him too. And of course, if you just feel like BisuDagger needs another pair of sunglasses, you could donate towards me. But I will be doing a Fight Club series come 2017. I've already got $250 in funds for that, and it's just growing and growing. If you want to donate towards the StarCraft 1 foreign scene, Fight Club will begin. I believe I'm going to start at the end of January of 2017. It'll be a lot of fun. What the format is there. And let me go ahead and start this real quick. Game number 5. And then I'll tell you what a Fight Club is. Okay, so for Fight Club, what will happen is we'll start off with 2 foreign pro players. Well, you know how we call them. We'll call them pros because they're the best of the best. And we'll start off with 2 foreign pros. And whoever is the winner will get the default prize, and then they'll get follow-up money every week that they win, because this will just be once a week, and it'll be a best of 7, okay? And so there will become a bounty on their head, and for however many games they win in a streak, the bounty will increase. So whenever they finally do get defeated, then that person will get their default money plus the bounty that was on that person's head, so they get a little bit of extra something. I'm thinking we'll run this for like 6 or 10 weeks, however long we can continue to fund this. And if you guys donate more and more, once that does start up and happen, then we'll just continue to just run it until we can't run things anymore. Okay, so that's just something that I'm planning on for 2017. Of course, if we have the funds that run us into June, just one final announcement: if this continued tournament runs all the way through June, then I will have a child by then. Yes, my wonderful wife, who has been going through so much pain, has decided that she will give me a child, and it is terrifying. And I don't know if you guys have children. I don't know what the demographic is here, or have anybody in your life that is pregnant. But I feel like I did the most horrible thing I've ever done to a person by getting my wife pregnant. Because she is literally in pain every day. And morning sickness sucks. It's not that she's throwing up, but good God, when you look at your wife, and hopefully you love her, and you see the angst, you're just like, I take it back, I take it back. All right. But of course, even if I do have a child, the casts don't stop. I'm going to continue to just yell and let my child get used to it. So we're going to have at the top right hand corner here, on Fighting Spirit, Jaedong. Yeah, late introductions, right? 2:15 in. And he has gone for the standard 2-hatch spawning pool. Catch you up there. Meanwhile, down at the bottom right, we will have our Terran player last. Oh, Lamada, you cracking me up. I'm Google's casting AI. That's brilliant. I am what Google envisioned as the, like, perfect friendly face casting icon here. I'd say wonderful things. Every game I get better and better at casting. That is true, though. These replays have really made me improve. I mean, take like weekly #1 with my Korean replay casting, and it has been a complete about face with where I am today. So I am very thankful. Watching these players in this perspective here has been quite educational. And anybody who's been watching consistently with me, I believe that you guys have probably improved too. Or maybe have gone deaf, and so now you can just tune me out and watch the replays through the screen without having to hear anything. Alright, so the supply depot on the outside, standard command center timing here, second barracks. Okay, so let's start talking about the things that we have seen from last here. Last has gone for 3 racks. Now, there was a nice little video that was translated that has to do with Flash. And this happened about a couple months ago. And Flash came out with this little tutorial snippet, which said 5 racks. 5 racks is the way to go. It's so easy. You can defend pretty much everything. And, oh, look at this! I have to throw something out here! There are 8 Zerglings! Who called it? Who said that Jaedong should build 8 Zerglings in the following game? I promise you I haven't seen these. But Jaedong, knowing that he has had trouble with the Marines in the early game every time with this 3 racks build from last, I swear to God, he's not a little creature that crawls in your hair. He is last, not lice. But Jaedong, he went with 8 Zerglings this game. Oh, a way to my heart is to just make me look good as a caster. Jesus. So last year, though, he had been doing a 3 racks play in these couple games, which is contrary to what Flash says. Now, Flash has a 20-1 win ratio on Fish, based off the last statistic that we saw on that really cool thread. Who's the guy? Classic Yellow or whatever on Team Liquid, who keeps posting all these cool Fish statistics. Posted that one too. 20-1 TVZ win rate for Flash. I mean, that's disgusting. 80% win rate overall. The guy is good, but he's still not there. He's still not there. I think think he can even do better. We'll have to see. The ASL returns on December 4th. I hope that I am elected to cast the ASL one more time, as I have casted all of Africa's tournaments, and I would be really saddened if they cut me loose as a caster. Now, if you guys don't know where I cast on Africa TV's official channel, which is why I get only like 30 viewers instead of whatever 100 viewers you are right here, and whatever 5,000 viewers go and watch the Tastosis cast, because no one knows where that channel is. But the casts are there, and my co-caster Amazing XKCD and Flash for the Win were just wonderful compadres in that last tournament. I believe Flash for the Win, if he is available, will be my co-caster for the coming ASL. And of course, even if I don't get to do an official cast, it'll be on my stream instead, restreamed. But that comes without pay. I like being paid, even if it's just a little bit amount of money. It's hardly anything, I promise. But I like being paid because then I feel like that validates me, and I can walk around and brag to my my coworkers. Hey, do you get paid to talk about video games? How cool am I? Okay, so here we are off these 2 bases. What's going over here? Just an Overlord. That was throwing me off for a minute here. The mutas are coming out right now. Only 8. We'll see. I feel like 9. Okay, here's the 9th. That's always so important here. At least getting to 9 mutalisks. Here comes the flock down across the map, ready to do what Jaedong does with his mutas here. Okay, so now we haven't seen Jaedong win a game in 3 games now. It is a 3-1 series, and I'd really like to see him take a game off Last, because Last is just disgustingly good, and he can't have this absurd of a win ratio, right? Alright, so he is pushing forward with all these Marines. Let's look inside here. So this is actually different, and I was actually wondering about this despite all my ranting, is that Last in this game actually chose to go for 4 racks, which is why he has so many Marines, and he is pushing out. 5 racks, he actually delayed a little bit longer. 4 racks, you can go for this cheeky timing off 7 minutes. And let's see here. Where are these mutas at? Where are these mutas at? They're coming in here. Oh, they're already stacked over here. I thought the lanes were the mutas. Mini-map fail. Okay, here comes the massive engagement. The medic's actually taken down. So with precision micro here, Jaedong might be able to finish off these Marines, but the Marines are still actually making their way across the left side of the map. I think that Last may be wondering if there's a 3rd base at the top left location. So he's just trying to distance himself and make his way over there. He knows that he needs at least 1 Marine to scout out here, but he's going to find nothing. So what is Jaedong doing if he's still sitting on 2 bases? He's going for the Hive. So the Hive is what worked last time for Jaedong. He won that first game on Fighting Spirit when he went for this faster Hive tech, and I said that it was very similar to what Zero had when he was successful coming back to the StarCraft 1 scene. So let's see if Jaedong can twice in a row prove that this is actually a pretty solid build here for him to go with. Meanwhile, this Marine is nasty, because what it does is, everything that I wanted to say about this Marine was wrong. Okay, so Jaedong, he's getting the later 3rd, but the later 3rd because he went for the Hive tech, and now he is actually going to be able to post that expansion up. This is going to tell Last, let's get some units out there. Maybe I could take out this base. Imagine if he was able to stim perfectly and take out that drone before the Lynx killed off the Marine, though. That would have just been completely dirty, and Jaedong would have been so delayed on getting a 3rd base that he could mine from. Okay, so the mutas poking in here inside this base. How much damage can they get done? They're stacked up pretty nicely here, but what are the key units to actually take apart? You can see that no science vessels out right now. It's just purely SCVs that he can make the most of if he can kill as many workers off as possible. Look at these units. Oh, I thought Last was going to try and bring his units up here at this 3rd base location. Sometimes you see that the Marines will try and catch the mutas as they escape from the base and pick them off here. Okay. Oh, what does Jaedong have? What does Jaedong have? Look, the Nidus Cal already coming up, bringing itself up for a nice, modest defense here. The Defiler Mound is completed too. Does he have any Defilers in the works? I don't think so quite yet. So no Defilers, just relying on these Lurkers here. These Marines still doing their job of just floating around inside the middle of the map, holding what they can. Eventually Last is going to just stim his way over towards the left side and try and take take this base. The lurkers are out though, and the lurkers need to be up on this high ground. Jaedong can't try and hold at the bridge. It just won't work. Okay, looking inside this base here. So this is actually still pretty barracks light. The expansion coming down for last, you know, you can sit on 4. I guess if you continue to go towards the vulture production here too, which is what last is more geared to, is just getting vultures out, and vultures plus their mines really allow last to go for that mech transition. And I wonder how well the mech transition is going to go for him. This is the first time that we're actually seeing last go for a 3rd base with the idea of, well, I'm not going to win at this 11-minute mark. I'm actually going to be wanting to try and get a more economic build coming out here. Okay, so just Overlords over here trying to figure out where this spread is about. Okay, so these initial vultures might be able to... Oh! They're going to have to kill off this drone first, so this is sneaky. It's actually on the high ground. It is right out of vision. So the vulture would have to try and go up the ramp to kill off the drone to open up a pathway up inside this base, so that's not going to happen. Meanwhile, these Marines are actually positioning themselves to attack from the right side. An Overlord kill could happen here. But look at this. If they came from the right, there's no advantage from flanking from this location here. And you can still just safely come across this bridge, since all of the defense for a Zerg player would sit between this choke point, as Jaedong has, you know, beautifully stacked lurkers and a nice set of sunken colonies here to defend with. Now looking inside this base again, the factories are starting to pop up, and we're seeing that the marine production doesn't stop, because literally minerals are just flying in here, and you just want to continue to roll with that. What is this though? Okay, so the Guardians have formed! The Guardians have formed! And they're starting to get their damage out here, and just a single Wraith is going to be enough to just push these back. Oh, but the Devourers come in here, and even with Cloak, this won't work. Oh, this is brutal. This is brutal. So, if you don't know, the acid spores actually reveal the unit. And so they are just a multi-purpose unit here. The Devourers. But you know what? The Guardians have been taken out. And that was a cheeky little attempt here for Jaedong. And he has this Greater Spire that's going to not provide anything else in this game. That was it. So, a lot of foreign Zerg players actually go for that style of attack, where you attack from the water at the north. But mostly it gets shut down after picking off a few SCVs. Now what Last has done is he's transferred a lot of his SCVs over here that he hasn't switched back, but it doesn't matter if he mines heavy here. That's going to actually allow him to mine pretty efficiently from this natural base. All he did was actually lose this oh, let's focus over here. He lost that gas, and he's going to eventually have to take that back up if he wants to continue to go towards this mech style. As you can see, all the barracks are already lifted over here too. He has this 4th base. So Jaedong, he's going to have to start keeping up with the bases here, or else he will lose this game just to pure massive economic advantage that could come out for last. There's not a lot of map control, despite that you see the yellow here. You know, the marine production has finally really stopped. There's literally no more barracks, so no more marine production at this point. And so a lot of the spread that you're seeing around here is just spider mines, which can be quickly cleaned up by Zerglings just strategically run across the map here. And you know, that's what Jaedong's going to want to do. So you can see that the Lings are coming out. Can he drag the... he dragged the spider mines into the Marines. Oh, beautiful. I love a good Marine dieback here. And that was beautiful. Meanwhile, actually... a little bit of vomit came up from one of the defilers here. You can see the plague just completely devastating these Marines at that location. Okay, so Jaedong's got this 4th base up and running. If he can get up to 4 gases too, he's going to be in such a strong position to play for the late game. Where's that Ultralisk Cavern? Aha! Ultralisk Cavern right over here. You know it's coming up on its way. And you know, as your caster, I like to get excited when I find buildings when I'm expecting them. Okay. So, let's look here. Last is not slowing down. Jesus. He really, he's kept Jaedong at bay for so long that he's just going to be able to continue to get these bases and grab them. Now, there's not Zerglings out on the map. They're going to have to blitz through these mineral patches if they want to go for their harassment. Jaedong actually not doing the best job of splitting his lings upon these spider mines here. So even though there's this opening here, this wide gap for Zerglings to harass into, this nice ramp for Zerglings to run up into, Last has everything under control, and he's defending rather well. You can see actually things are starting to reconstruct over here at the natural base too, and meanwhile the main is almost completely out of minerals. Last is just in a great spot in this game. Okay, Jaedong late game, we haven't seen this yet. What can he do? Can he handle the massive macro from Last? Both these players playing at a little over 350 APM consistently throughout this game. This is just a beautiful set of skills from both these players. Now, look at the tank count. Up to 7 siege tanks, and that can grow rather quickly at this point, especially when you look at all the factories. You got 3 machine shops already created here. Actually getting that range on the Goliath too, just making sure every single upgrade is available for his units. Now look at this too, +1 already finished, and he's just slowly working towards stronger and stronger siege tanks, and it's gonna be really tough for Jaedong to bust out anytime soon. I would say that this is complete dominance and map advantage for Last at this point in the game, and the fact that Jaedong hasn't done anything is actually rather concerning. Look at these lings trying to bust out here, and every time he runs a control group of lings out, they've been dying off pretty quickly here. So, and look at that, and just a wasted irradiate on an overlord apparently. Look at inside this base. Okay, so drops have been finished, speed has been completed too, but this is a slew of vultures trying to get some spider mines up here on the top area too. Oh, here comes the drops. I'm sorry about that, but the drops are coming down on top of these siege tanks here, and with the Dark Swarm coming down, the lurkers, the lings are going to be enough to clear off this initial pressure here and open up a pathway for Jaedong to at least start escaping out of his base. So much solid defense though, the 1-1 Marines with those medics cleaning up what they can. Oh, and I see a couple Goliaths here. So the Goliaths with the range are actually preparing themselves to deal with the Overlord drop play that comes in the late game. But this is how it happens. This is slowly how Jaedong takes the game back. We have to see here too, he's got lurkers coming out with his overlords here. I mean, this is how Zerg players play against Protoss players, where they drop lurkers behind mineral lines and completely just devastate what looked like a game that could have been easily won by the Protoss player. So now we're seeing a similar in this Terran matchup. Look at all the turrets here. This is a massive amount of turrets. Last must be like the Padawan of Flash, because he has completely like defended this bottom left hand area perfectly with how many turrets there are available to pick off those overlords and prevent drops. Now this is a ton of lurkers coming in here, and the lurkers are going to clear up pretty much everything. Now there's no attack upgrades here. You can see that the carapace is done, and that's all well and nice, but I think that it's gone towards the melee upgrades, because the Ultralisk transition is going to be absolutely key. Now where are all the Ultralisks on this map? Jaedong, he's actually got to start clearing out and take a 5th base too. It's going to be imperative that he works towards that. Jaedong all over the place though. Look at him cleaning out the right side of the map. Last does have a complete map split towards the bottom here, so even though he is losing ground and Jaedong is starting to take over, it's still okay, because defender's advantage is going to play out really well for Last here. Yeah, you can see even though those units made it all the way towards the bridge outside the natural of Last, they're not going to make it so far. 2-2, you see, so the +2 upgrade did go towards melee instead of the range attack. Okay, so the Ling's making it inside this natural base, gonna pick off these tanks, and that's it. Oh, no, the Vulture's gonna clear that up too easily. So this is why Vultures are great. Oh, that's that one dies here to this wonderful lurker under the Dark Swarm. They can't kill it until now, and now they will go down. You can see even this unsiege mode tank can still hit that lurker from a pretty good distance. And Last has got himself under control. I wouldn't be surprised if he even tried to be ambitious and expand out towards the right or the left here. Jaedong still relying heavily on Zerglings. Dear God, he's got 46 Zerglings that just came out here. Now, as they run across the map, they're going to go right under this barracks, and since he has nothing that can attack air, Last is going to be completely aware of what's coming towards his left side map. Everything's going to die right here. There's just too many spider mines. The Vulture's going to reinforce very quickly here, I think even with a Dark Swarm coming up here, this isn't going to be the recipe for success. There's not enough Ultras in here either. And without the defense of that Defiler, no Dark Swarm, the Ultralisk goes down pretty quickly. How many Ultras are we up to now? 2 come in here. But 9 total. I see that there are 9 on this map, so more are going to come. We have to keep that in mind, that this isn't the end-all be-all. Somehow, the defenses are starting to get weakened up. Last is going to have to bring more and more. Look how much he's got inside of here, too. An Ultralisk has actually made it inside the main base now. Dark Swarm's just completely filling up the area, and this is just a crazy amount of smog as the SCV is actually attacking. The SCV was helping to kill that Ultras. Oh, what a game, what a game. Okay, so the Lynx and Ultras coming from the north one more time, but look at this reinforced position. That Spider-Mine just killed off three siege tanks. The Ultras did less damage than the Spider-Mine. Oh God. Terran, you are a sad and amazing story all at once. Jaedong's just continuing to send these streams, but they're single file, they're not grouped. And how long can this continue to work? These siege tanks are just going to be picking things off on the right side. This is like one massive tank defense game here. Oh, look at all those tanks. They're going to go down so fast here. The tusks of the Ultras breaking things down very quickly here. You can see that +5 carapace, and that's a one strong Ultralisk, I tell you. And Ultralisk can continue to get stronger and stronger. I like this. A few lurkers mixed in here too. But Jaedong, he's still not attacking with the proper amount of units. The Overlord's coming in here, but the Overlords can't do much because the turrets have been defending so well. You need the Defiler Swarms though. And Last knows that as long as the Defiler hasn't been used here, oh, there's a worthless dead Overlord. Without those Defilers in there, Last is actually having a pretty nice time defending here. He hasn't lost anything inside these bases. I did hear the load up. Oh, the slurp, slurp, slurp into these Overlords here. But how efficient is this? Look at that Ultra. It didn't get in. It didn't. You were not cool enough. You don't get to join this Doom Drop crowd here. This is going to be sad. Oh, brace your face palms. Brace your face palms. As he brings in these Overlords, the tanks look like they're in a pretty good position here. The Dark Swarm does come up. How many units actually do remain? I'm surprised how many Overlords actually made it through here. And in fact, some haven't dropped units yet. How is this possible? Where are your Goliaths? Last, it's not like you're starving for economy here. And look, it's looking pretty good. Should have been able to clean this up pretty easily. And look at this. He's just making tanks. Just tanks. Last, you bold bastard. Alright, so the Ling force again is just way too weak. I don't like what Jaedong has been doing. He's been sending small forces too sparsely at this point. He has taken this base finally. An additional gas will be coming up, and I mean really it's 4 gas because that's depleted. And actually this is depleted too. And oh, this will be depleted in 5 minutes, right? Oh, these undefended siege tanks, though, will survive. Nice, nice, nice. Last is playing a great game. This is easy for him. He is just like, this is as good as it gets for a late game Terran player. Ah, GG. GG. Woo! What a game. Oh, we're almost 2 hours into this cast. That is wonderful. Let's just keep this rolling. No reason to stop, right? Quick water break. I'm actually out of water. I'm going to play some music. I'm going to be right back. Oh yeah, Spice Girl's in the house. Do that Spice Girl nod. All right, that's your quick music break. Please focus on the dongs mutas. Yeah, I can. I was getting a little ranty at the beginning of that game. That turned into something pretty amazing. Stardom, what's up? Welcome. Ending Life, Connor, Sherwood, Nuri, Awordy, Neural, I like that one. IOPG, KHMY Guy. Let's see who else we got here. SCP-239, Blur Music. I can do my elite speak. Navigator of Oceans. How many oceans have you navigated? Oh man. Stardom, I don't know why you haven't been, but you've just been upgraded. Okay, let's go into game number 6. Yeah, that's right. For those of you long-time participants to my streams and supporting me for a long time, Mr. Eon Black, what's up? All right, I appreciate you guys, and eventually you'll get your mod upgrades. Stardom has definitely earned his. All right, weekly number 11. Is this not the best one yet? Is this not the best one? All right. Well, I mean, there was that other one with the Bisu replay. Okay, fine. This is awesome. It's Jaedong versus Last. Do we want a ZVZ? Do we want a ZVZ right now of Jaedong versus Zero as a intermission replay? Or would you guys like to watch one more Jaedong versus Last replay before I do a ZVZ? What do you guys want? For a ZVZ, press 1. For more Last versus Jaedong, press 2. I will give you guys 30 seconds. 30 seconds on the clock. What do you guys want? Spam the keyboards. 1 for ZVZ in case you forgot. Oh, wow. This is overwhelming. This is overwhelming. We're going to do one more. And this doesn't mean the end of the cast. We're just doing another, though. Well, it's going to be at ZVT. All right, let's see if I can count this down properly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Woo! Let's do this. Best of 53. Here we come. Game number 6 is underway. Looks like we're on the wonderful circuit breakers. I still got that tune in my head. It makes me want to do like all the old Egyptian moves. Oh man, I'm such a dad. My dad moves and my dad jokes. Oh, I was meant for this, guys. June 20th, that's when it's due. My poor wife. June 22nd is her birthday. She said, please, BisuDagger, I need to have this child early because I want my own identity. And I thought, oh, I would shed a tear, but I'm a Protoss player. We have no sympathy. All right. Down at the bottom left-hand corner, we have our Zerg player, Jaedong. And at the top right-hand corner, we will have our Terran player, Last. This is amazing, guys. If you have not been here for the first 5 games, we opened up with a wonderful win by Jaedong. Lamont is saying, I'm unsure if BisuDagger is joking about the best of 3 or not. Hell yeah, this is a best of 3. You gave me 53 replays with the same 2 people. It's a best of 53. We're getting through this. Alright. Off the top of my head, most memorable cheese games. Well, weren't we just talking about Pokeju? There's nothing more memorable than Pokeju. Okay, but the most memorable... I'm going to pause for this because, dear God, this is important. Guys, the most memorable cheese game was it the OSL or MSL? I'll leave that, guys, up to you to figure out. Jaedong versus Flash. 4-pull versus 2 racks. 4-pull versus 2 racks. Stakes are high. This is in a finals. Oh my God. Please. That was memorable. All right. So we saw a couple 3 racks games coming from Last to open up this TVZ series, but then we saw in the last game a 4 racks. But you know the difference in this 4 racks is that he actually went for an early push that was thwarted pretty pretty nicely by Jaedong with his Muta play. Now, that was Muta, the longest game, so that was an MSL. Thank you. Honestly, the MSLs and OSLs kind of become a blur. And I just try and almost phase out all of the OSLs because they're not really a necessary tournament. The only true tournaments are MSL, as validated by the great Bisu. But we were seeing from last is that, and that was the longest macro game, that last actually, off those 4 racks, took a faster third than we had seen in any of the other games, and allowed Jaedong to expand, and just took it into a late game where he completely had map control. Jaedong did not play well after his third base came up. It was a very passive game, and he didn't seem to know what to do to get himself out of the little nook that he was stuck in. And so that's not very Jaedong-esque. Back when you saw him as the tyrant, you would know that you would be confident that Jaedong's thinking about where's the weak points of last. How do I get out of this? How do I break this? You know, Zerg's not weak to Terran. Just other Zerg players are weak to Terran, not the tyrant. And so we'll have to see. Can Jaedong pick it up at this point? Because he is down in this series, a 4-1 now. And we're in our 6th game. The SCV going for the cross spawn again. AlphaGo always knowing where to go. And you know what? It's funny, and I don't want this to turn into a StarCraft 2 bashing chat. But I remember watching Wings of Liberty in StarCraft 2, and people were really upset about there not being default spawn positions on certain maps. And so what they did is they actually changed the maps. So even though there were 4-player maps, they would always be cross-spawn maps. So you knew where their opponents were always going to be based on where you were. So you didn't actually have to scout right away. And for me, I'm thinking, you know, what if on circuit breakers they decided that oh, well, we don't like horizontal spawns or vertical spawns. We're only going to do cross spawns, and it just kind of took a little bit of the fun away. Now, I'm someone who watches both. I don't want you guys to get into an argument there, but that was just one of the things that quirked me. Oh, someone restarted it. Neon Black, you did it. You did it, you crazy SOB. You're getting into it now. Oh, man. Okay, so Lings are all the way across the map again, and 6 Zerglings. Remember last game I was bragging because I told you Jaedong should go to 8 Zerglings, and that turned into his longest game ever. Now we see 6. With 1 killed is 5. So I disagree with this. I don't like this. I want more Lings from Jaedong. Maybe he'll build a few more later. But just starting off with 6, not savvy with me. Knowing how Last has been playing consistently, I'm all about trying to pick apart the patterns. Huh, that was a nice alliteration. Okay, so the second Rax is on the way too. We're going to see that without this refinery done, obviously we're not going towards the Academy upgrades quite yet. And the command center built on the high ground, and it's going to float to the low ground. And this is key because I think that Last wasn't quite sure how quickly Zerglings were going to get towards his base, even though he did cross spawn scout pretty quickly. And so that's why he built the command center on the high ground. No big deal. Cost him what? An extra 20-25 seconds to float this slow-ass building over there. Where's the turbos on this thing? You know, this is a very green army because you never see like any fuel or gas thrusters coming out of the buildings themselves when they float around. They must be like hybrid command centers. San Francisco would be proud. Of course, everything else is probably just a complete waste of carbon emissions on whatever planet you would call circuit breakers. And rant, I really don't care. Really don't care about that topic, so we're going to get off of it. Don't want to start that controversy, Jesus. Alright, so the Ling's running away here, and let's see where we're at. So the Academy coming up, we're 450 into this game here. And the lair has been completed, and the spire has just finally been constructed here. Someone's saying it's Tesla. I would believe that Tesla probably is responsible for building the new Terran mech armies that we'll have with interplanetary travel. He is part of SpaceX, so I mean, or not Tesla, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is responsible for SpaceX and all this future travel. He's gonna get us to all these distant planets. It'll happen. All right, I love it that you guys are here. We're still above the century mark in terms of viewers, so thank you. Please don't all just start flooding away. This is Jaedong, and the first replays you'll have with this. And we are watching the weekly number 11 Korean broadcast. I am your host, BisuDagger, if you've just jumped in here. And that's enough for the station identification. How pro did that sound? So this is 9 Zerglings, and they're actually going to get the fire bats. Nice! The fire bats getting picked off here. The Marine forces heading their way down still towards the bottom left location. And with only 5 Zerglings remaining, it's going to come down to sunken colonies here for the defense. Is there going to be a stem forward here? Last, is he going to have the timing? How quickly is this game going to end? We've seen this before. He's still sitting off 2 racks with a high-powered pushed-out army here. And he's going to get the first sunken colony. Where are the Lynx? The Lynx need to engage here. They need to force the army off. And they will come from all different sides here. The sunken colony is actually not helping participate in this defense, though. The Lynx engaged away from the sunken colony, and Last was able to trade so nicely here. Every Ling but one went down, and that was awesome push there by Last. He was just like tiny pixels, not even normal pixels, tiny pixels away from the range of the tongue that comes up underground and just suckers the units out of existence. By the way, great news, guys. Starship Troopers is getting a rebooted movie series. Are you pumped or what? I know this is a random tangent, but dear God, I am a fan of Starship Troopers. The book, the movies. Woo! Are you guys pumped as I am? I hope you are. Okay, so the mutas stacked up. We see 9 mutalisks added into this mixture here too. And as requested by Ending Life, we are going to keep an eye on these mutas non-stop here. Oh, the stem in ahead of these medics here. And the Jaedong, the Tyrant, is not ready to stack these mutas up quite yet and going for the engagement. He's got 11 mutas. He's almost got a full control group ready to go here. And they are ready. They are on top of each other. One more to be brought in here. A nice little swipe in there, taking off the initial Marine as we can see him chipping away at this bioforce in the middle of the map. Jaedong, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get that initial swipe in. Oh, the patrol micro in tandem with that overlord. So difficult here. You actually sit at 11 mutas because you can have the additional 12th slot filled up by the overlord, so that's why I actually stopped at 11, in case you wanted to note that. Alright, back into Angry Caster mode here. These mutas, they are not getting a lot of damage done every single swipe. This is like watching an angry Quanra right here, who tries to get the muta done, but the muta micro is not being successful here. The forces continue to push forward, and still, we're looking at 2 bases for Jaedong. He hasn't been able to pick up a third. Oh man. Yeah, look at this. Don't want to miss a single kill. How did he survive? 4 health! Oh, this Marine! Jaedong had to come back for it. It doesn't matter if he lost the muta. He had to kill that Marine off because that was just nasty. Not enough links here if he does try and push in. These medics are getting pretty low in health. If he can just force a couple more stints, this would be good. BisuDagger, is this from TL? Actually, these are replays that were provided by Last himself against Jaedong. This is up to date, current. This is not like years old. Some of these may be a week old, a month old. I'm not entirely sure of what the timestamp was on these. I could actually look if you wanted to. But this is Jaedong in his new prime right now, as he has returned to StarCraft 1. You will be able to watch his stream live next week if you're excited about that. I believe the 12th of November. Oh, here comes the push in. He's not even going to micro. He's just going to camp right on top of it. There's no minus. Oh, Jaedong, you lost all your mutas. Meanwhile, there's a huge attack down here at the natural base. The lurkers here, now that I don't have to look at the mutas anymore, right? We watched them all, though. They have died off. The lurkers here, the scan goes down. The bioforce is eliminating every single lurker at the front. There's not much left for Jaedong. Last, how are you so gosu? Oh, GG. That's it. Bingo, bango, bongo. Game number 6 has been completed, and this has been a massacre. Wow. Wow, that was such a frustrating move. Jaedong, he can't seem to get his third when all the other players should be getting their third as Zerg players. You know, if you watch my Zero casts, which I've been given almost weekly now, Zero, he really gets that third base like clockwork, and it seems like no Terran player can prevent that timing from happening at its regular timed schedule. All right. So that's it. That's game number 6. Let's take a quick water break, and then I'm going to show you ZVZ, and I'm going to lose half my viewers, and then we'll go back into one more last versus Jaedong, right? To the wall. Oh, you all love that song, don't you? Classic. That's when I was going through high school. What was that? Junior year maybe of high school. Oh God, man, that's old. Throwback now. I have been out of high school for a decade. How's that for age? I'm still excited as ever. Gonna be 29 on December 7th. That's Pearl Harbor Day. That's the day that lived in infamy. Half because of Pearl Harbor Day, half because of my birth. I'm sure it was terrible to have me as a child. I was absolutely terrible as a child. Alright, I've updated the overlay. How about that for niftiness? If you didn't know, if you didn't catch that, I have. Okay, so let's go ahead and call this. We're going to have Saren Zero, aka just Zero, at the top left-hand corner as our Zerg opponent. And then our other Zerg opponent down here, 424, aka Jaedong. Woo! This is ZVZ. JVZ is what they used to call it. Jaedong versus Zerg. He is literally the best ZVZer of all time, bar none. He has the best win rate, the best win streak, the best micro. It is absolutely amazing. Let me see here. A lot of people were wondering why JD was not getting the third regularly. Like BisuDagger is wondering. They were speculating that he might have concluded that the current meta was too Terran friendly, and he was experimenting to break with that early aggression. Oh! Oh, okay, cool. So, if you guys didn't pay attention to my mumbling there, Lamada is saying that a lot of people who are watching these 4-2-4 versus last games were wondering why Jaedong didn't take a third. And it makes sense that, okay, well, if the current meta is allowing Terrans to get away with a lot, well, then maybe not take a quicker third and start to experiment with a faster hive. You know, what kind of damage can I do off 2 bases? More macro bases. That's one thing that I've always thought, is instead of taking a third, can you spare a 4th hatchery at your natural base? I feel like that may be something that may be legit too. Okay, but right now let's focus on the openings here because it's actually super important. So we see that the spawning pool and the extractor on the way here, and both players going for the same exact build opening. Can you see that? So the spawning pool has just been completed at the same exact time. These players, maybe they're just synced up like 2 robots of the same color. Please stream 30 replays tonight. I don't know if I can. I've seen replays, threads on Team Liquid commenting that this Jaedong was crushing all the top players. He was winning against some pretty good players. But the bottom line is last is amazing. He's probably the best there is when it comes to Terran right now. And his TVZ is just on another level. I mean, despite the fact that Sharp made it to the ASL finals, I still think that Last is the better player. Okay, so Lair Tech on the way. We can see that Jaedong is already forming his Zergling arc here at the top of the ramp, so that's nice too. And the Lair on the way over here. Zero, when Zero was playing against Effort, he was actually the more defensive player in ZVZ. So this is about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I was casting a Zero versus Effort ZVZ, and Effort was always the one to move his Zerglings out first. And so I'm surprised to see that Zero is instead actually being the aggressor and letting Jaedong be the defender in this situation. But already he's bringing his Zerglings back and trying to cover his bases back at home too. So I think you actually have two players that favor guarding their ramp versus trying to pick apart the other opponent and getting Zerglings inside here. So while it's relatively boring in the beginning, it's actually leading to a pretty solid Muta game that's about to stretch out here. While both these players are about to have their Spires, well, it's halfway there. But they're going to have their Spires up on the way. I wonder if they're actually even going to bother attacking with their Zerglings or just taking expansions. It really does become important of taking the extra hatchery so you can mine from the gas here and have the extra larva to be able to produce mutas, because 2 hatcheries worth of mutas is obviously always better than 1. And so we're just going to have to wait out and see how that turns out. So both the players will have overlords that can get picked off that are out on the map. I wonder if either player will be quick enough to start picking off these floating around overlords. And Zero here, Zero has a 12 Zerglings, and let's check on the Zergling count here. Jaedong has 10. So if Jaedong guards on the ramp, he can match up with the 12 Zerglings well here. Or if he has the better concave, it's always better if you have the more surface area coming around the outside. And it looks pretty even between these two right here. I wouldn't be surprised if Zero came out ahead. So Jaedong not guarding on top of the ramp with the Zergling disadvantage shows right away here, and he may end up losing drones. This is bad, but the mutas are popping out right now. How many drones will get killed off? He has 10 drones in total. So 10 drones. Let's go ahead and check this out. 11 drones. So only 1 got killed off by Zero. It was a nice little Zergling run-in regardless. Okay, but how does his Muta Micro match up when we're in a strictly air versus air battle? This is the way and the direction that things are going. What Zero did, though, is he got this extra hatchery while he was aggressive with the Zerglings, so that's going to be huge for him, too. Oh, look at this. Scourge already out for Zero, too. He wants to get those early kamikaze kills and try and just soften up, weaken, and maybe even kill some of the mutas that are going to be part of this swarm. 4 Mutalists in total, 4 Scourge, as the aggression comes at this natural. So it does become difficult when you have this natural base, of course. But it will stay alive for a while. The glaive attack does not do a lot of damage to this hatchery. As you can see, it only went down 2 bars with all that attack. Okay, so coming in from behind, it looks like Jaedong is going to have a lot of Zergling, a lot of Mutas and Scourge engaging inside of this army here. Zero, how much is he going to be losing right here? This dogfight, it's almost cost the game just right away. Jaedong already taking the lead here. You can see that he's gotten the better hits. Oh my. That was instant. I wish I could have gone back just a second. We were just slightly off. How quickly did Jaedong just close in on Zero's units and win that game? Alright, that's enough. That's enough with the ZVZ. We'll get back into that later. Whew. Someone says 30 games tonight. So we have 53. Let's get the 7. How about that? Alright. Alpha Dagger on the way. Alpha Dagger. 6, 7. All right. We enter into our 7th game of the night in our best of 53. It's going to be Jaedong up at the top left corner here, and down at the bottom left, it will be the Terran player Last. Of course, you know, as I go throughout these casts, I got to change my voices up. You don't want to hear the same voice the whole time, right? Am I right? All right. So, I love that you guys have continued to keep the century mark inside of the viewer count. So thank you all again. And if you want to show your appreciation towards last, throw a donation down towards my PayPal account at the bottom. And I see that Lamada's still in the chat here, so maybe he can figure out how to get all that PayPal money that you guys throw this way towards last, so we could donate it towards him. If you want to donate towards Zero for giving me replays, of course you can. And if not, you can always donate towards me, and that's always welcomed. You know, 50 cents might allow me to get the gumball out of that gumball machine that I'm always eyeing. Don't you guys ever, like, look... I know we're adults now, but don't you ever look at, like, the quarter machines or the 50-cent machines with, like, the eggs and the prizes inside? Like, one could be a tattoo. One could be, like, that rubber hand that you hold on one side and you kind of, like, fling it, and the hand sticks to the wall. And then you have to, like, pull real hard, and the hand will extend as long as it can. All sorts of goo. Silly putty. You know, anything you want. It's always really cool that you can get from, like, the 50-cent and 25-cent machines. But I just don't do it anymore because I'm too adult these days. That and I don't carry change. I don't think anybody carries change anymore. Unless you're feeding off the dollar menu. And then I'm sorry. Okay, so we have Jaedong opening pretty standard again. We've taken a break. We were ZVZ. Now let's get our bearings straight back into ZVT mode again. We've been theory crafting about the fact that Jaedong's been not taking a third. So let's pay attention. If he doesn't take a third base again in this next game, when we would expect it, what is he doing that's different? What is he doing that he's trying to, you know, maintain his stay in the game? To counteract against last builds. Let's see if we can catch the differences that allow him to be competitive in ZVT. Oh, people remember the rubber hands. Oh, they were so good. They had that smell, though. And the worst part was with the rubber hands is if they get dirty, then they're grainy forever. And that's the worst. No one wants those grainy rubber hands. Look at this. The Trollo drone, and the Trollo drone only prevented the command center for just a minute here. It will eventually go down, of course, as we see the 400 mineral mark get hit. AlphaGo not being perfect. I saw 16 minerals there. Alright. It is fun how it always just perfectly hits that 400 mark, right? So, we see that the hatchery is down. We see that the gas is up. And despite the fact that Jaedong has been doing things a little bit differently, it's still quickly to the Lairtech Alpha 3 hatcheries. Last, he even has some minerals in his SCV's hands. That SCV feeling as cool as possible. Hey, you guys have to bring it home. Me, I get to ride around with my minerals in my hands. Too cool, little buddy. 60 health. 60 health on an SCV. Compared to the 40 health of a drone. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think nerf to the SCVs? Or are you happy with them? But SCVs can't heal themselves unless they repair each other in their awkward hug phases. Okay, here are the Lings picking off submarines. And actually, this didn't work out for Last the way he expected. So a nice little deflection here. And even a little bit of a later Ling. He will end up clearing... No, he leaves 2 behind. So Jaedong with 2 Zerglings, 15 drones. And let's look inside the base here. We're going to see 2 racks for Last. And this is all pretty normal. Last has one with 2 racks play. He's one with 3 racks play. And he's one with 4 racks play. So really any myriad of combinations of barracks. And it's still been very successful for him. What I feel like has been also very successful is a constant production of Marines early on in the game. And so he hasn't really slowed down. These are constantly producing Marines. And once the medics come out, of course, he'll add in the medics too. We got to see this academy all the way through first. And so he has really powerful numbers throughout the early game. How does Jaedong stop that? How does he punish Last for building Marines constantly, for building SCVs constantly, and not making sacrifices for economy or army power? He really can't until he gets to either spectacular mutaplay or he goes for lurker play. So there's just so little that the Zerg player, and this isn't a whine, that they can do up to this point until they get the Lairtech out. They can defend well, they can expand well, but they can't attack well or harass well. It's just the way it goes. It's just a really massive waiting and patience game early on here for the Zerg opponent. Okay, so a bit of lings are gathering right outside again. So 12 of Zerglings in total. They will most certainly die because this is just a dense unit composition here of Marines with these medics. And even if he baits a few of these units away, there's just way too many that can stim in there to deal with this. You can see now the range coming up. So stim has just actually finished. I clicked it just a second too late to get over there. And that's what I love about being able to cast from replays too, is you just naturally, without even looking at the timer, you just know when certain things are about to happen after doing this for so long. So that's one of the important things too. So the game timer at the top, as you guys can see here, is saying 6:17, 6:18. You can play with that in your game, actually, if you are playing in a live match. But the thing is, you know, a lot of players back in the day used to say, well, that was unfair. And other players would say, well, don't play with a timer because it's all about, you know, you should just memorize it. You should always know when you have like a certain amount of drones or SCVs, this is when you should do that. And when this is when you should do this. You know, I think maybe a combination of people being less elitist and, you know, just not caring these days. Because the players that have memorized it, they will just maybe have that slight advantage. Look at this. So 4 creep colonies. I know the mutas are coming in here, but 4 creep colonies. That's pretty crazy. A massive amount of defense for something that's not needed quite yet. So Jaedong, he's got his mutas right out here. He's trying to micro in here again. And that's probably the best initial shot that we've seen fired from Jaedong so far. This is a lot of Zerglings here, and this is how you punish this army. It's sitting out on a bridge, but it's a wide open bridge. This isn't Fighting Spirit style. Or, I'm sorry, this isn't Circuit Breaker style where it's split across 2 bridges, and it's skinnier. This is Fighting Spirit where you have the wider bridge, so you can actually engage on it more effectively. Alright, we've only seen Fighting Spirit in Circuit Breaker today, if you guys didn't know. We are on our 7th game, and Jaedong has only won game 1 here, but I think this is his best initial move that we've seen since game number 1 here, with those initial additional Zerglings here. And meanwhile, oh, look at the scan going down. The scan should actually show as the hatchery, and the hatchery should be revealed at this point. So a perfect enough scan from last to identify that the 3rd base is actually going to go down, and this is looking more normal and normal. Meanwhile, these mutas, let's keep an eye on them. Gotta keep focused here. Alright, so the mutas are gonna run to the back here, and this is perfect. They should make their way all the way through. Go all the way to the middle line. A nice pickoff on the potential turret that was being constructed up there. No delay at the starport, so that's another interesting note to have there. And so many SCVs are going down here. 39, 38. So he's gotten at least 6 SCV kills so far from that little run-in between the turret building SCVs and those mineral line SCVs. And that was a great attack. So 31 drones so far to 38 SCVs. And we saw the lifted starport brought over here. And it's going to have the control tower added on. And now the science facility is just going to get crammed right in here into this limited space main base of Last. A huge amount of drones being transferred over to this 3rd base. Jaedong feeling comfortable now. He's got the lurkers to defend. He knows that units aren't moving out quite yet. And he's got a decent number of mutalisks still. He's got his 11 core here. His 11 core mutas. And almost recklessly lost a few over that marine line right there. Thank God there wasn't a stim into that attack. Okay, so Jaedong has actually played rather well. And we've watched 6 games or 5 games now of Jaedong playing not too great. But if he's shifting at the meta, that's nothing to worry about. His micro has been pretty decent. His macro has been well. His APM has been high. So it seems that his core skills, his fundamentals are still there. But he's playing around with builds that haven't succeeded quite yet. And while we see these mutas attack right here, a white club has gathered outside of this base along with 2 crucial siege tanks. The mutas have to get back. Last is in a position again, once again, to bust through this. He's done the scan, so if he can, he wants to try and get that lurker in the back, which he does. So the lurker goes down. Not too many Sunkens left. All three at the front here pop. Well, the fourth one is going to go out very shortly. The Zergling's running in from behind to just slow everything up. But Jaedong, I think he's going to lose this one more time. Where are the Mutas? They're coming in from the back. The Mutas, there's still 11 alive here. They're going to try and clean everything up. The Lynx have done enough to delay here. And I think that Jaedong has done it. He has survived. Wow. Wow, Jaedong. What clutch moves right here. He has just been able to do everything he needed to. The medic party by the hatchery will go down here. Still, you can see the only thing that's disappearing here is this Nidus Canal, because when you lose one, you lose both. They're attached like a giant tentacle going underground. Ah, disgusting. Well, what's this? What's this? SCV at the top. Don't worry, it's not a dropship. Got to keep an eye on this. All right, Muta's still alive right here. Doing a great job with this swarm. How many Mutas does he have? 6 in total. And, excuse my reading skills here. So, the Scourge did get picked off as the Mutas tried to stack on top of the Scourge, take out the Sentinels. He's done a great job. And can he split well? Can he split well? Jaedong is not splitting as well as you would expect. So, that's one of the key micro things. That's actually one thing where you would look at it and go, well, how good is Jaedong? Effort would have split that Muta out immediately. Zero would have split that out pretty quickly too. Jaedong did not split the Muta out very fast. And so, unfortunately, we're going to have to knock him down a few points based on that split and all the reckless Scourge they're getting picked off too. Don't want to lose that such important gas. So, I'm trying to push up on this high ground here. I actually like that the Hydras are in range to try and maybe do some damage on this Science Vessel here. But the Lurkers are going to have to pull back. And a Radiate should be coming shortly for one of them here. Yeah, the Radiate does go down. And we see that it's just going to just wear down at least one of the Lurkers. This Defiler, though, is within perfect timing. So this is looking more and more aligned with what you would see in a Zero-style ZVT. Where he does have a good timing here with the Nidus Canal and the Defilers to throw up Dark Swarms and defend against the possible siege move-ins here that we're seeing from Last. So Last is having a tougher game, and oh my god, I did not see this down here because it blends in so well. Dear God, I'm so sorry. The Guardians are just wrecking this. Guardian of the Galaxy style here, and we have one more morphing in. Oh, look at this beautiful cocoon. And the Devourer will be joining in with this. So we saw this in the last long macro game with Jaedong too. The Guardians are going crazy on this natural base. But look at this, the Magic Eraser. The most efficient way to kill off the Guardians is to actually irradiate your own unit here. And while the Devourer can actually start to kill off this Science Vessel, and you can see it actually does some significant damage here, it is just wearing down these Guardians as much as possible. This one will die off. Pretty nice move so far. Meanwhile, an accumulation of Lurkers and Lings just gathering up here on this portion of the base, and expansion coming down at the natural for the top right location. And Jaedong is looking real strong right now. He's expanding and attacking at the same time. And that is a recipe for success. Alright, let's see if these little crab units can make their way over towards the main base and do some attacks here. Looks like Jaedong really trying to block off the left flank and a potential third that would come down for Last eventually. If he can keep on this pressure here, he can win this game. This is a tough part for Last, who has a bunch of Vultures out, which indicate his he's going to be Marine Light as he switches over towards the mech style build location. Oh, look at that, GG! He does it! Jaedong does it! He finally defeats Last after 6 games of defeat. Or whatever, 5 games of defeat. Wow. Jaedong getting a second win under his wing here. Not too shabby. 2-5, 2-5. Alright. Let me take a quick water break here. This has been, we are 2 hours and 5 minutes into my cast. Thank you all for remaining here and continuing to enjoy this wonderful day of Jaedong versus the world. All right, I saw that some people were asking, are these current Jaedong replays? Yes, these are current, by the way, versus Last. The other question, how it will Jaedong qualify in the December 4th ASL? I think that he's probably like training way harder than anybody knows. He has gone underground for a little while, and he's going to pop up in just 2 days on his live stream. And he said, I will show you the tyrant. Urgh. So expect it. Expect the tyrant to return on the 12th. Now, on top of that, will he qualify for the December 4th qualifiers? I honestly don't know. I mean, there are a lot of really good players, and there's a lot of really good cheesers. And between that mix, there could be some upsets. So, I mean, TBD on that, especially since players like Bisu are actually going to have to go through qualifiers to get into the final rounds. All right. Where are we? 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like it's going to be circuit breakers again. All right. Well, I'm wearing down, guys. This may be the last cast. Let's see how it goes from here. Let's see if Jaedong can win one more time. That's kind of what I'm really hoping for right now. Yes, this could be a best of 3 if I just continue to do this all night, but I feel like my body will just die of exhaustion. Apparently Google did not program me well enough. Down at the bottom right, as I set this the fastest speed, we have our Zerg player Jaedong. Meanwhile, at the top left, we're going to have our Terran player last. So spread the word, guys. If you love this cast, let people know, hey, BisuDagger's got some pretty cool replays going on. Let's watch this weekly Dagger every week. I know I'm never going to have the traction that Day 9 has. One, because Day 9 is just like the most fascinating personality ever. I love that guy. He always has really good stories too. So he's got that under his belt. And plus, he was just back when it was in the prime, when StarCraft 1 had a lot of people following. But that's okay. Let's just get this built up as much as possible so we can have a pretty solid scene in the English world. Well, even if you don't speak English, I hope you just enjoy my waving and flailing while you watch these replays. Okay, so Jaedong won a game, which is huge. He took a 3rd base. His Guardians actually played out really well, and that build that he went for right there, and I was late on the Guardians, but that is what was successful for Modesty before Modesty went into the military. So yeah, 2 years ago, Modesty was actually doing really well. He was the #1 Zerg player right before Zero started to kick in, and Effort actually wasn't on the scene back when Modesty was being successful. And why was he so good? He was beating players like Mind and C, and Sack. Those were the 3 players back then. Maybe Mind not so much as Sack and C, but those players were consistently losing because of a Guardian timing build that he had come out. And I actually did a cast about this a long time ago to talk about the timing, but that knowledge has completely left my brain because it was so long ago. Took it, threw it in the trash compactor. Okay, so Last is busting out with this barracks again, and as I've been pointing out in the last game, and I'll say it again here, he doesn't stop Marine production. And so what can Jaedong do to really stop that? He built more Lings early on in the last game, and I think that was super helpful. He wasn't at just like 8 Zerglings plus 11 Mutalisks. He was at 16 or 18 Zerglings plus 11 Mutalisks, and that's huge. Excuse me, the Chinese food I ate earlier starting to act up. I love Chinese food. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing better. Fill up. And I had Beijing chicken, Beijing beef. I'm sorry, Szechuan orange chicken, General Tso's. I had the works. It was amazing. All right, I know you guys love your Chinese food too. So making their way across are these 2 Marines here, and you know what? Last actually lost a little bit of an early battle too with his Marines when he sent out an SUV with his Marines, and the Lings picked him off pretty effectively, and it just set him behind just a little bit. I just thought it was less of a big deal that Last lost those Marines, but I thought it was a bigger deal that Jaedong defended so well, and because he has been getting more Zerglings early on. And this time, you can see that we are only looking at 4 Zerglings. And now being Zergling Light, this has been completely observed by this SCV that's almost dead. And these Marines might actually do more damage. Only one... Oh! Oh my god, the micro here! This was very unfortunate, especially because the SCV was down so low on health. And Jaedong, how did Jaedong just kill off 3 Marines and an SCV with 4 Zerglings? Oh my god. This is like watching a 3-year-old try and play Frogger. The success and failures just entwined in that are amazing. When I was 3 years old, do you know what was out? Battletoad. Battletoad was the thing of that era. Oh man, that was quite a game. I don't know if you ever played co-op Battletoad, but there's this level where you get into the water and you're on like a hover surfboard that takes you out across the giant river as you're chasing across enemies. And if you're trying to co-op with your friend, there's nothing more frustrating than you've timed out all of the ramps and then your friend dies and then you forget the timing of the ramp the next time over and over, and it just gets very infuriating and very, very hard a level to sync up on, and you have to have great reflexes to be able to survive that one. Lots of repeating too. Actually, one of the times I got really good at Battletoads was when I played it on an emulator, because I actually had the chance. I didn't have to worry about lives. But of course, you guys could use the Konami code too to get as many lives as you needed to. I believe. Could you use the Konami on Battletoads? I'm not sure. Certainly a fun one though. I used the Konami code on Bad Dudes. No one knows that game but me, but it was an amazing NES game. Alright, someone is saying Jaedong is coming back to Africa TV tomorrow. I thought it was the 12th. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I guess this is a good prequel into Jaedong's stream where he will be playing live. You know, obviously you guys should be a little bit more excited to see him officially live with his beautiful face. Jaedong's a cutie, isn't he? His cute little face on the screen. It's not fair. He's actually looking more adult too, which is pretty scary. A lot of these players starting to look not so childish as they did before. I would like to see Jaedong in that old sweatshirt that he had with like the mittens, so he looked like the little cat. That was a cute one. Okay, so let's look at this. The Zergling count is a lot less. So you see 11 Zerglings here, and instead of, let's say, like the 16 that I wanted to see come out along with these Mutalisks. And you know, the more Zerglings, the better, because the Mutas don't have to micro so hard against this force that is out here. Now, what I was mentioning on this bridge here is that the Bioforces were sitting on a rather wide bridge, which allowed the Zerglings to engage effectively along with the Mutas when the attack did occur here. Now, instead, they're going to have to wait, find some more space, like more open middle of the map area here, if the Lings want to attack along with the Mutas, which can occur. But it looks like Jaedong here is going to attack towards the main base instead. He's starting to get the stack up here too. Watch as they jiggle towards each other. Here comes the... Jaedong! Do the Muta jiggle! Do the Muta jiggle! Okay, well, now he just stack them up right here on top of the SCV line. Oh my god. He got a few SCV kills already, setting that count down to 29. This is really nice. A lot of the Marines having to stim without medics coming up here towards the north as they continue to attack. Meanwhile, there is a force down here. The last is not stopping his force, but know that he is having to defend right here against the Mutas as he does try and take out the natural base too. Okay, looking back at it. Sunken colonies, 1, 2, 3, 5 sunken colonies. The Mutas still trying to poke back and forth here and apply pressure. Is the stim going to occur? Last should look at this and know he doesn't have a tank this time. He can push through and break down all the static defenses here. Meanwhile, we're looking at still 2 Mutas have gone down. Three now. And so 8 Mutas remaining here. And are there enough Lings to try and break the front? I don't think so. With the supply depot here, it's going to make it really hard to get the proper surface area. Along with this turret going, doing a lot of damage here. Jaedong is losing so much. We saw him lose all those before. And this is exactly what happened again. Jaedong. Why did he do it? Why did he do that? Please explain this to me. Very frustrating. Oh my god, I almost lost my Cyclops goggles here. And now, look at the bottom here. He had all these static defenses, all the sunken colonies here, but he just threw all his units away on top of this supply depot. No. Even without the supply depot, he didn't have enough surface area. Whew. Very frustrating. Game of Thrones indeed. Do we want to end on that one, or do we want one more? Another replay? What do you think? Let me play a little bit more music. You guys decide. One for more, two for sleep. Alright. You guys suckered me into one more game here. I'll do it. All the replays. Just finished up the pack. That one caught me. Oh, man. Did I update this? No, I didn't update this. Let me update this. How long can I go? I've done an 18-hour cast before. This should be nothing. 2 and 78. No, that's not right either. Okay. Let's see. Where are we at? So this is 5, 6, 7, 8... 9. I guess I could look at the number here and commit that to memory, because I hope my short-term memory isn't that bad. 145 here. We have all of these left. All of these left. Oh boy. All right, let's do it. Let's just F it. Let's do it. We gotta get through this. We need more. We need more. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've got work tomorrow. You know what I'm doing at work tomorrow? I'm programming on the Vive. And I got the Oculus hooked up, and I was screwing around with the Oculus, but I literally am going to be just playing around with the Vive. Now I program simulations for Boeing, for those of you guys who don't know, and they do a lot of research into technology. And my manager says, hey, you want to program a new simulation for this cool little like dual blade copter thing. I don't know what it's called right now because I haven't started on it yet. Don't know every plane in the book. And I was like, sure, you know what? I can make a Vive interactive demo where you walk around, and you use your hands, and you like take out oxygen tanks and start, you know, doing weird shit with it. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to put the Rift on, or the Vive mask on, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just going to play some games because I'm so light on work. It is amazing. This is awesome. You know, January I'm going to get swamped, but for right now, it's a good time of the year. I'm very excited about it. Okay, so I just clicked out here, and now I got to start paying attention to this cast. All right, so at the top right-hand corner, we're going to have Last, and at the top left-hand corner, we're going to have Jaedong. Obviously, we're sitting on Fighting Spirit again. We've only seen 2 maps today, Fighting Spirit or Circuit Breaker, because Jaedong's just trying to get his bearings straight, and that's why Fighting Spirit and Circuit Breaker are really good practice maps. But look at this. We've got, yeah, the 8 racks already called out. Thank you. You guys are so smart. You don't need me. But we see that this is the forward racks here, and this is actually one of the reasons why Flash was eliminated from the last tournament. Is because he built this barracks outside of his base to build units and try and get a faster attack in. But then his opponent went for like faster Zerglings, you know, 9-fold or something, and it completely effed this thing up. So here though, I mean, you are more times than not, 90% or more, higher than 90% of the time, you're going to see a 12 hatch from the Zerg player. It's just how it's going to go. So this outside racks is actually pretty nice and efficient way to get the Marines out. The SCV's already discovered the base. It was a very fortunate near spawn positioning here. And with 2 SCVs out, a Marine here too. And in fact, yeah, I was going to say, we're going to see a bunker here. 3 drones are caught outside. 3 drones. 3 drones come round me outside, round me outside. I'm sorry, I just had that Eminem song stuck in my head. God, that's throwback too. Okay, so the drone's pulling out. Jaedong going for a defense here. He's actually picked off one of the Marines. This is a pretty good timing. Wasted 100 minerals on top of that bunker. And somehow these little drones are the workers that could. Eliminating a bunch of Marines here. Going in for one more surround here. Oh, he loses that one drone. The nice focus from last, though. He does end up losing the Marines so quickly here. Without medics, Marines are just a ridiculous waste of time and money here. And I think this was a great defense. So, yeah, 8 drones, 8 Zerglings. So, here's the deal. 8 Zerglings are coming out. What does Last have here to defend? He's got a bunker that's coming up, but if the Lings are bountiful enough, they will be able to run past this bunker and just get inside the main base and maybe do some damage. Here comes the Blitz, though. They're spread out too much. This is like trying to run past a single photon cannon when they kind of get into that tiny line. Those Zerglings can't really make it across there effectively. I feel like an opportunity has been wasted, though, because Jaedong did not try and build more Zerglings. He stopped actually here at 7. Well, obviously 8 had to be an even number. And so now we're seeing that he's just gone back to droning up and restoring his world to normal. This is so bad for Jaedong, though, because even though he has the extractor on the way, he doesn't have a macro hatchery because he's been delayed on the mining, and the natural base is already being constructed for Last. Last is going to have a huge economic boost early in this game, and to me, that makes me think, go for like a quick 4 racks play. Go for that 4 racks, knowing that you have the minerals heavy, and you can take that early win. Look at the SCV running down here, trying to survive for its life here. The Zergling playing a little bit of chase. I don't know why that's reminding me of this game, but if you guys ever played the UMS called the Dodge the Rapist, it is the most like crude and hilarious game at the same time. And Dodge the Rapist is your Zergling, and you start at the bottom of the map, and you have to run up to the top of the map. It's basically like playing base. So you go from your bottom base to the top base, and if you get into the safe area, you're good. Now, you would play with like 8 other people if you wanted to, and you, at each level, you have to dodge different enemies. So let's say like the Reaver. The Reaver would have, if you clicked on it, it would be called like the large penis, and it would move back and forth very slowly. Now, if your unit accidentally touches a Reaver, then your unit dies and turns into a flag. And other players can run around and get your flag and turn you back into a Zergling, so you can be saved from the Rapist. And so there's like the thin penis, and I hope I'm not getting too rated R for you guys, but the thin penis was the ghost, and it keeps it thin. It only takes a couple of pixels for that one there. But there will be like thousands of ghosts on the level just running back and forth, which is absolutely absurd. Okay. So, yeah, that's that UMS map. If you guys didn't have time wasting your time doing that, you're probably too busy playing, like, sexy tank defense or Idra tank defense. These Lings gonna get nowhere. So, 6 Zerglings. So, Jaedong not only is betraying me and my love by building so few Zerglings, but he is just gonna keep him low every game possible. But look at this. So Jaedong, he knows he's in a bad position here without that earlier macro hatchery. He took a later gas. And he's going to have to try and play with Hydras too. But Jaedong forgot that Hydralists die very quickly to Stin Marines. Like, Bioforces just tearing them apart here. So he survived this, but he doesn't have much left. Yeah. Yeah. GG. Oh, Jaedong had a memory lapse. It's okay. That was quite the game, wasn't it? Alright, guys, I'm calling it a night. It's 11:40 for me. I need 20 minutes to watch some Flash and you know, just relax on the couch for a minute before I go to bed. Alright, if you guys haven't been watching the Flash series, that one's pretty good. Don't watch Supergirl. I was really disappointed with Supergirl. It was about, and I don't hate that it was a girl, but it was literally about feminism and you know, climate change, and that Supergirl has to save the climate. Not too many spoilers. All right, yeah. Look, before I get into any rants, but that's what I'm gonna be getting into later today is watching some Flash. I'm almost done with the current season on Netflix. All right, I'm gonna play some outro music. You guys take care. It's been a blast. Let me switch over to scene number 6. I will try and finish the rest of them as I can. Thank you all for watching as I throw that up there. I do have this nifty video, don't I? Yes, I do here. Alright, let me play my nifty outro video for you guys. I don't know if this is the correct size. I know, there's a "that's what she said" joke in there somewhere, isn't it? Bam. Okay, we'll just play with that. Alright, music time. Later, everybody. Leave your comments on Team Liquid if you liked it. If you want to watch my cast again, I'm back here next week on Tuesday and Thursday, unless something happens in Seattle. Other than that, take care.